little monster.
This is what he would come into.
Frankenstein.
President Frankenstein, they placed a missile base in Cuba.
That was before Hail to the Chief.
Yes, exactly.
They would play this.
Where he makes the transformation all the time.
Everybody sing along. No, let's not. All right, so at the box office, Kung Fu Panda 4 continued the success with its second weekend, earning $30 million and bringing its total gross to $107.7 million in North America and $176 worldwide. Dune Part 2 is close behind in second place with another $21.1 million.
I've seen it.
$29.1 million.
I did.
And has so far grossed $205 million in North America, more than $400 million globally. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Oh, shut up.
What's your full-blown assessment?
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We do need to teach our youth, and I mean, the teenage years, to just shut the F up during movies.
Oh, there was a lot of chatter?
Right directly behind me.
Did you have to turn around and give them some sass?
It was like I was in their living room,
No, you can't have that in a movie like that.
No, I didn't say anything. A couple of people did shush at some point.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't feel like getting into this with people right now.
I always go in and I bring a cup of lye with me.
Yeah, maybe I should next time.
Throw it on them. Sometime this week, the Dune will pass its predecessor's total theatrical run of $433 million. Mark Wahlberg's Arthur the King had a lackluster debut, opening in third place with only $7 million. The horror thriller Imaginary took fourth place with $5.5. And Cabrini rounded out the top five with $2.9 million.
I do have a question about Dune 2. Is there going to be a Dune 3?
It's looking that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the plan.
Okay,
So,
and
the success of this will certainly pave the way for that.
Yeah, Harkonnen's in Paradise.
But the books as they were, or the book as it was written, because it seemed open ended at the end. So did they, finish the book, or is there more like source material?
They finished the book, but there are a couple. They changed a couple of things.
Okay.
And it would take too long to explain it.
Got
here.
you.
But yes, they've left it open for Dune Messiah, which is the second book.
I'm very excited about that. Then.
So Cara Delevingne's multi-million-dollar home in Los Angeles was destroyed in a massive fire early Friday morning. The blaze burned for nearly 3 hours and took 94 firefighters to extinguish. Luckily, no one was seriously injured, although one firefighter was transported to the hospital in fair condition and an occupant suffered minor smoke inhalation. Cara, who was in London at the time, took to Instagram to express her heartbreak and her gratitude to the firefighters. She also confirmed that her two cats, initially believed to be missing, survived the fire.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
She wrote, "My heart is broken today. I cannot believe it. Life can change in the blink of an eye, so cherish what you have."
Listen, if you're home or you're in the general area, if your house goes up and you're that far away and everything's going to hell, it's got to be really devastating.
Yeah, it's a big house.
It is a big house.
Destroyed. The house featured an in Architectural Digest segment. Was featured in that one time and was known for its unique and exuberant decor, including a crawl-through tunnel that was designed to look like a vagina.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the vag was destroyed in the fire. Alec Baldwin was offered a lenient plea deal last October in connection with the accidental shooting death on the set of Rust that would have allowed him to plead to a misdemeanor without serving jail time. But prosecutors withdrew the offer before the actor could make a decision, choosing to indict him on involuntary manslaughter instead. If convicted at a trial in July, could face up to 18 months in prison. The new revelation was part of Baldwin's efforts to have the case dismissed, with his legal team accusing New Mexico prosecutors of numerous abuses, including leaking confidential information about the grand jury proceedings to an NBC News reporter. So some more details are coming out of that.
This thing never stops.
It's going to be a while. Usher and The Color Purple were among the top winners at the 2024 NAACP Image Awards. He won Entertainer of the Year and thanked the women in his life. He said, "They say behind or beside or with every strong man is a stronger woman. And for that, I thank my mother and my beautiful wife, Jennifer, for holding me down," he said.
Oh, shut up, woman.
He said, "My kids, I love you guys so much." The Color Purple took home the prize for Outstanding Motion Picture, among others, including acting nods for Fantasia Barrino, Coleman Domingo, and Taraji P. Henson. And This was co-star Daniel Brooks said on the red carpet, "If nobody going to see us, I'm glad that our people see us," referencing the film's lack of Oscar, Golden Globes, and other nominations.
Yeah,
New Edition, by the way, was inducted into the NAACP Image Awards Hall of Fame.
That's cool.
Which is a lot of
I assume they showed up.
musicians came out of that group. I think so.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure.
You wouldn't pass on that.
Speaking of Usher, his wedding to Jennifer also took his family by surprise. The whole family didn't know it was coming. He said it was an incredible moment that we felt was great for us. It was a button at the end of an incredible Las Vegas run.
Yeah, they got married at the Punk Rock Museum, Preston.
No, they did not. My mother was there. Her mother was there. The kids were there. Our immediate family was there. Matter of fact, everybody was surprised. And I'm like, no, we are having a wedding right now, and we're going to go have Elvis officiate us. So they did it at an Elvis chapel.
Right.
The couple wed last month in Vegas, only hours after he performed at the Super Bowl. Their whirlwind night saw them head from Usher's lauded performance at Allegiant Stadium to the fast lane drive-thru at Vegas weddings, where they wed in an intimate ceremony. This marks Usher's second marriage. The Yeah singer was previously wed to fashion designer Tamika Foster, and they share sons Usher, Cinco, Raymond V, and Naveed Eli, who is, they were 16 and 15, respectively.
So what's the deal with Elvis chapels in Vegas? I thought they were going to put the kibosh on them, and I keep hearing about people getting married at Elvis chapels.
I forgot what the details were on that.
there was also-
Marissa knows she had a Vegas wedding.
I think they don't call them Elvis anymore. It's now like 70s
Notable rock legend. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
It's like a Halloween
1950s.
costume.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Like, Jesus.
The way they package those things?
Yeah.
British Spy.
Right, yeah.
Which is
James Bond?
James Bond
Young Wizard.
Or what's his name? With the glasses.
Oh, Austin Powers?
Austin Powers,
Yeah,
yes. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you. Yes, Young Wizard. Harry Potter. Mark Wahlberg would like to avoid going under the knife if he doesn't have to. In the new issue of People, the Arthur the King actor who tore his meniscus on the first day of filming the movie
Sucks.
and continued to work while injured, said that he doesn't want to have an operation. He said, "I prefer to try to do corrective exercises versus surgery. It's not my thing," he says. The meniscus is a piece of cartilage in the knee, kind of acts as a shock absorber. Torn meniscus is one of the most common knee injuries and causes pain, swelling, and stiffness. How did he get injured? He said, "I was running along a hill where we went up the embankment and just jumped off a little rock, landed on it wrong." So it was something as simple as that, and that's how it can happen.
Coming back through the airport, through Tampa Airport on Saturday, I'm pushing down on my one shoe at security as we're going through, and I push down and I hyperextended my glute muscle. I'm like,
Oh, yep.
I mean, taking my shoe off.
In Arthur the King, he plays an adventure racer based on Mikhail Linnord, the athlete who bonded with a stray dog while in the midst of a competition.
It looked like it was a pretty good story.
He said, "I kind of snapped my knee back and it tore. But when I got it x-rayed, the doctor was pretty adamant about doing the surgery because what happens is if it locks, it can lock in a bent and flexed position, and then you cannot move your knee until they perform the surgery." Despite the injury, he decided to keep on filming. He said, "I just said, you know what? I got to kind of try to tough it out and see if I can get through the movie." He's also a producer on the film, and he didn't want to shut down the whole thing. But it was no easy feat. He says that he has bonded with his canine co-star, Ukai, I guess is how you say the dog's name. Also did several of his own stunts, including in one scene in which his character zip lines across a ravine. He said, "I remember coming back from a trip home, and on the first day I was back, I just walked up to this platform, and I hadn't done the zip before. And they were like, all right, you're going to go out with the cameraman. And he just went and did it. And I was like, what? I hadn't seen anybody else do it, and I hadn't been on it yet, and that was pretty nerve-wracking. But he got through it, and the movie
Not to go off on a tangent here,
in
but
the theaters.
Over the weekend, I saw this video, Preston, of the coolest zip line I've ever seen, which is basically these swinging sort of chairs. So you're sitting comfortably in these kind of dangling chairs, and you go along the zip line. It appears to be in South America, along creeks and through the forest.
Whoa.
But it is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And you're not that high off the ground, but you're just moving along, and it's just amazing. I've never seen anything like it before.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Let's see what you're talking about. Sparks are continuing to fly between Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid.
Ooh.
Yeah. Earlier this week, the duo attended a dinner party for the Queer Eye star Antoni Porowski's birthday, and a source tells People magazine the pair looked to be a perfectly happy couple.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be my regular Saturday night thing, baby.
Let's listen to them.
Cooper was,
He's
quote,
made her say Saturday night thing.
was in good form and smiling during dinner. The source said that he and Hadid were cute together.
Oh, they're so cute.
Cute.
Porowski did all the ordering for the table. He is the Fab Five's foodie expert, after all, and the group shared a mix of appetizers and pastas, and they seemed happy and were having fun.
So how often is, and you seem to have some insight into this, Kathy, how often is Bradley Cooper in the area in his new home?
Well, I don't know how often he's there, but I mean, he bought the new home. My guess is, and this would just be my personal opinion, is that he's not actually living there yet, because I do know someone who lives in that area, works in the industry, and says that his house needs a lot of work.
Oh.
The house that he purchased.
It's my understanding that he wants to be fully in before Mrs. Roper Fest.
Well, he was a huge fan, and so he does want to attend that.
He wants to attend that.
Yeah.
According to the source, the actor is a regular at Via Carota, the celebrity hotspot where he and Hadid dined, along with Porowski, Tan France, and other friends. So the staff is used to seeing him there. Back in October, the pair were spotted dining together at the Italian restaurant in the West Village for the first time. A source told People at the time that the model had been crushing on Cooper for a while, but they were just having fun. The source said it appears super casual now, but they both have kids, big careers, busy lives. She understands what life is like in these circles. It's cute, and there is an attraction. The insider said that they also bonded over their mutual status as parents. Cooper has a 6-year-old daughter, Leah Desane, with ex-Arena Sheikh, and Hadid shares 3-year-old daughter, Kai, with Zayn Malik.
Kathy, did you see the video I sent you? I think it's on an Instagram account called Towns of Bucks, and it's basically a realtor walkthrough and some overhead shots of the estate.
No, I don't think I saw.
I sent it to you over Instagram.
I assume it's nice.
It's yeah, Steve, and even if it needs some upgrades, and like the land that surrounds this home just looks unbelievably beautiful.
What town is it in?
New Hope.
Is it New Hope? Yeah.
North of New Hope.
Yeah, there's some spots in New Hope. Like a lot of people think of that main street going right through New Hope, but there's
a lot of estates and things.
There's a lot of there's huge homes. There's a lot of property. You know, people when they buy houses out there buy out there because there are huge pieces of land that you can build on.
I bet he's nervous, Bradley, because at some point he's going to have to introduce her to us.
Yeah.
And I know that has to be nerve-wracking.
But like, we're not very judgy, you know?
No, he knows that. I think once he knows,
What?
I mean, you don't become this close with an actor.
We're super judgy.
I'm not.
All the time on the show, all of us.
I try not to be.
Shut up, Warren.
I'm just pointing out the obvious.
I got you.
Yes, I know, but you don't need to do that.
Oh, right.
Don't need
Okay,
to
sorry.
advertise
I'm sorry.
How are we going to get him in here?
Bill Maher reportedly fired his longtime talent agency, CAA, after he didn't receive an invite to CEO Brian Lord's pre-Oscar party. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Maher was left off of the guest list for the A-list party, which took place at Lord's home last Saturday night. And those who were in attendance included Vice President Kamala Harris, Disney CEO Bob Iger, Margot Robbie, Julia Roberts, Jennifer Aniston, J.J. Abrams, among others.
Where's my invite?
Exactly. The Hollywood Reporter says the slight left Maher furious and led him to fire CAA, his agency of more than 2 decades.
That's a pretty big move because they are a powerhouse agency.
Yeah. He probably had some other issues as well, and this may have been the last straw. So prior to him firing CAA, the agency negotiated him a new 2-year deal with HBO, continuing hosting Real Time through 2026.
You got to make sure you're
let him go.
You're invited to all the right parties.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then one more quick thing. After playing a young Willy Wonka, Timothée Chalamet is once again portraying the youthful pre-fame iteration of a world-famous pop culture icon, this time Bob Dylan. A new biopic, A Complete Unknown. The first photos from the set have surfaced now, giving the fans a look at Chalamet in costume as young Bob Dylan. The 28-year-old actor was recently seen on the New York set of the film in photographs obtained by People on Sunday.
Obviously, clearly, he's much better looking than
my
Bob
God.
Dylan by leaps and bounds. However, he looks comfortable in the role.
It says picture perfect as a 1960s era Dylan, rocking a retro jacket, jeans, a well-worn newsboy cap, a large scarf, and mustard yellow backpack while carrying a guitar case through the streets of the Big Apple.
They say it's going to be sort of like the Elton John, like Rocket Man. It's going to be a little bit more fanciful.
Oh,
so
really?
It's going to be a little bit of there's going to be a little bit of a Die Hard element as well. He's trapped in a high rise. Yeah.
Okay. So, no, the original working title was supposedly Going Electric.
Yes.
Before the official title, A Complete Unknown, was announced. The film was reportedly will detail a particularly important time in Dylan's life when he moved away from folk music and into rock and roll, which caused outrage among many of his biggest fans and at the same time cemented his status as a timeless figure of American music.
I wonder if he can play. Is he? I assume that would have to be one of the attributes, right?
Yeah,
They're not going to just learn guitar.
What was that other Bob Dylan movie that came out a few years ago? There were a lot of different people that played Bob Dylan, including
Like six different people, yeah.
Yeah, some women played him as well. And I never saw it. I don't know if it was any good or not.
Yeah, neither did I, but I remember what you're talking about. Steve, he did play an instrument in Lady Bird. Remember, he was in a band. So
right.
I don't remember he played guitar or bass in that movie, but apart from Chalamet, A Complete Unknown also stars Elle Fanning as Dylan's 60s love interest, Sylvie Russo. Monica Barbaro is music icon Joan Baez. Hal Holbrook is going to be playing Johnny Cash.
Wow, that's a good call.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Nick Offerman as folk music historian Alex Lomax, PJ Byrne as music manager Harold Leventhal, and Edward Norton as folk singer Pete Seeger. So
Gary Busey's playing Joni Mitchell.
interesting casting choices. All right, I think we're ready for some clips now.
All right.
Yeah. The teen drama Young Royals is set at an elite boarding school and follows Prince, Willem, and Simon exploring what it's like to be in a public relationship. In this clip, Edvin Riding talks about the challenges that their characters face.
It's so much passion. They know, like, okay, we've chosen each other, let's go. And then they face all of these issues and then they have to deal with them. And like, that's the dilemma. Are they going to be able to, is their choice and their love sufficient for them to go on? Or will they not?
Could you shut up?
The Young Royals series finale streams today on Netflix.
It's the finale.
It's the finale. Here's our next clip. The teachers of Abbott Elementary have exited their comfort zone for season 3, while Prince Coleman was encouraged to go back in. Here, Janelle James talks about Quinta Brunson writing an epic dance scene into the first episode. Here we go.
She's tiny, so she just sidles up. You don't see her coming. But I looked to my side and she was there. She said, by the way, you'll be dancing to Back That Ass Up in the season premiere. I don't know if I envisioned that I'd be in a gym by myself under a spotlight. And it also is another clever callback to the first season where Barb talks about Back That Ass Up being Baby Shark for adults was the joke. So that was a clever callback.
Abbott Elementary airs Thursday on ABC, by the way. All right, and there you go. That's the entertainment report for today. Back from our little excursion, and we return to the confines, the wonderful, comfortable confines here in One Bala Plaza. And we got stuff to do today, folks. We do have a concert announcement coming up later on. We'll get to that in our music news segment. We'll take a quick break, come back in just a second. We got a little sliver of daylight on the horizon. We're mainly going to have clouds, so just a heads up and soak in what little bit of rays we get on the way into work. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thanks, Kath. So The Last of Us rolled back in from Florida yesterday and have arrived, and we're all back home and enjoying things here. But, man, did we have a great time.
It was sensational.
I think this was the best trip.
I agree.
So, like, as far as our shows go
Yep.
and the people we were able to talk to, and it was just a really nice trip.
Yeah, the pace of it all was wonderful. We had great weather. We met a lot of great people. The guests we had on from the ballpark, from the Phils, were all fantastic.
All the listeners that came out to Coco's on Friday at the ballpark and Coco's, and I was shocked at how many people listen to our show, but like are transplants and live down there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I think it was like 50-50 of people who traveled and people who lived there and
like
came
it.
out.
You're right. You're right.
People traveled, I mean, not just in that Clearwater area, too. They drove a good ways to come out and hang out with us. And it was arranged in ages and professions. There was the really attractive restaurateur woman.
Yes.
Allison.
She's a sweetheart, man.
Right around the corner from there.
Yeah.
Which people know it. I mean, it's a famous restaurant. When she told me she was the owner, it was the Brown Boxer, and I was like, "Wait, have you always owned it?" She's like, "Yeah, for 17 years." I'm like, "You're the owner of Brown Boxer?"
And she's a massive fan of our show. Yeah, it was great.
Well, she said when she moved down years ago, obviously you're in a new place and I don't like this, and so she was listening to us to give her a sort of a breath of home and help get her through, and obviously she's doing very successfully now. There were many stories like that about transplants who really took to the area, but still fervently maintained the Philadelphia connection.
There was one woman in particular she was talking to me. She started crying because, she was telling me that we were kind of her lifeline to Philadelphia, to back home, because she was getting homesick. Now, she's been down there for 7+ years or something like that now, and still gets a little homesick every now and then. It was a wonderful little conversation I had with her. And about like 20 minutes later, her husband comes up to me and she goes, "You made my wife cry." But he was thanking me for that. He's like, "You guys have been so important to her and the transition and living down here and adjusting and all that stuff." So it's a great compliment, and we really appreciate it. But it was so much fun.
Yeah.
The gang, Glenn and everybody at Coco's were a blast. And we can't thank Vince enough from Philly Sports Trips for not only the way he treated us, but the people that were under his care for that trip. You could tell were being pampered and taken care of, and we're having a great time and didn't have to worry about anything, man. It was all taken care of.
Well, Vince told us a story about, and they have a tremendously phenomenal track record. And one time there was a plane they had to bump a flight and so on and so forth. On one of the trips back, it was Vince himself there handling everything in person to make sure everyone got where they needed to go.
Yeah.
And once you can do that and just go, okay, you take care of it. And they do.
Vince and Bob, they're the two head guys. And Vince's his sister, Julia, they were awesome.
I love Julia too, and his other brother was named Nick, and Nick was there too. Steve, on Saturday, I texted Vince just to see if he wanted to, get together. We didn't. Right. I stuck around until yesterday and had Saturday off, and was just, maybe go meet up with him or whatever. And it took him for a while to get back to me, and then he finally got back, and I was just hanging out by the pool of the hotel where we were staying, and he's like, "Sorry, man, I had to run back to the airport and pick up 200 more people because there were 2 overlapping trips from Philly Sports Trips, and the second of those is staying there now down there for a few more days. So he was busy and he was working the whole time.
So while we had a wonderful time with the broadcast and all that stuff, and you guys were staying at a great hotel and everything. Kathy got bumped up to the presidential suite.
Again. It was beautiful. I had a gorgeous view. I was telling Preston, and I know you're going to tell your story, not to rub it in your face, but the last night I was there, I walked into the room and I was like, I haven't sat on the couch. I was like, I need to at least sit on the couch. So I sat on the couch and read my book because it was the one spot in the room that I hadn't used.
So you'd already used the pool, and then you used the sauna.
Both bathrooms.
And you went into the cigar bar.
So this is I'm going to share my tale with you and just remind you to let other people handle your travel plans for you. Now, listen, I'm a regular. I book stuff myself all the time. I have a trip coming up next week. I'm excited. It's going to be a way different experience. My Florida experience was wholly different than what you guys went through and what you had, the great time you had, and we're all taken care of. Now, I had some extenuating circumstances. My sister lives in the St. Petersburg area. My mom is in a nursing home there. My plan was to stay with my sister and then drive and do the broadcast and all the things that we were doing. So that was the initial plan. Well, in the amount of time when we were getting ready to travel and go on this trip, within that amount of time, the condo that my sister lived in was owned by someone else, and she rented from them. They decided to sell their condo.
Oh, man.
So my sister had to move quickly and get to another place. So fortunately,
she's not in the best of health, right?
Yeah, she's got some physical problems. She had recently broken her arm and messed up her leg and all this other stuff. So So the people that owned her condo owned another property. She was moving to that. It's just a 1-bedroom apartment. There wasn't going to be room for me to stay there. Plus, it was full of boxes and all this freshly moved stuff. And so I decided at the last minute I had to pivot. So I wasn't going to be staying there. I needed to find a hotel room. And I was only going to be just sleeping there. That was it. We were going to be working all day.
Right.
And that's it. So I went for as cheap as I could get. It's also spring break in the area.
It's crazy.
Prices are jacked way
Everything's
up.
booked up.
So I decided to pick something very close to the ballpark for those first 2 nights. And I settled in at an Econo Lodge because it was cheap.
They put the Econo in Econo Lodge.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So
I said to you, I said, well, you got what you paid for, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
But even that was too much for what I got, I thought. So at that first place that I stayed in, Steve, it was a motor lodge. My car was parked right out in front of my door.
The old motor lodge, the motel.
And the room was lame. There was nothing to it, but I'm like, fine, whatever. It's funny because you guys were sending pictures from your views of your windows.
Yeah.
Casey sent kind of a jokey one that because he overlooked a roof of another building.
Yeah.
And then Kathy sent her amazing view, and I'm like, I got you all beat. I open up the window right when you said that, and there's some guy unpacking his trunk with his ass facing me, and there's a huge crack in the window. So I took a picture and I sent that.
It was awesome.
Well, that place. That was the Four Seasons compared to where I went to after that.
Wow.
So when we got done with the broadcast on Friday, I had booked a room in St. Petersburg so I could be near my sister. I was going to spend the weekend helping her unpack, getting organizing, and visiting my mom at the nursing home as well. So again, I was going to be spending all this time
Didn't need a lot.
working all day long. I literally just needed a bed, and that was it. So... and prices in and around where they live, which is this area, St. Pete Beach and Paso Grill, it was like, $400 a night. And I'm like, there's no way
$400
I would ever spend that kind of money to just sleep. So I'm digging around, and I go on Expedia, and I find something in that's away from the beaches, and just something that's where I can just lay my head. So
in the dump,
I found a Days Inn.
Days Inn.
I'm like, I know that name. I know the name. Days Inn. Picture looks pretty good on the website.
And the website never lies. No.
So I come rolling up that night because I spent the entire day and evening helping my sister pack up. I didn't go and check in until like 10 o'clock at night.
Until after. Right.
So I roll in, and as I'm pulling into the parking lot, I already hear
Oh, no.
just banging out of cars, stuff like that. And it was kind of dark, and I couldn't tell what was all around except for the broken sign at the Denny's next door.
Right.
And
you had a Denny's next door?
I know, right?
You thought it was knees until the D flickered.
And I walk in, and I'm getting checked in, and there's like 3 or 4 people in line, and the woman behind the counter just looked like the last place in the world she wanted to be was where she was.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. And I hear these guys come walking in, they go walking around the corner. I hear her go, bathroom's out of order. Best we can do is Denny's next door. I'm like, this is going to be great.
Oh, my.
No.
So I get my key, I go check into the room, and by the way, this was $170 a night for this place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Like, that's, you
That's a
pay.
fair amount of
That's a decent amount of money.
That's a fair amount of money.
Yeah. And I mean, you're right next to a Denny's.
Yeah, I open up the door to the room, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, just cracks on the walls. It just I could tell, the floor, all of it just looked really cheap and run down. And I'm like, fine, whatever here. I'm just here to sleep. That's fine. No blankets on the beds, just sheets.
Did you have a good view of the ocean?
Oh yeah, it was great. You could hear the ocean. It was wonderful. But the kicker was not that first night, but the second night that I said, because I checked in at 10 o'clock. I get in, I lay down, I go to sleep. Yeah. And I wake up early the next morning, and I get out of there
for the continental breakfast.
Go to help out my sister. I did go to Denny's that morning. Yeah. But anyway, the next night when I came in, I'm laying down, Kathy, and I thought of you immediately because I'm laying down in bed. I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and I'm just, on the laptop, just digging around. And
oh God,
I see a roach crawl across the pillow next to me.
Oh man!
Are you for real?
Didn't you have 2 beds in there for the one for you and one for the cockroaches?
Yeah.
He wanted to cuddle.
All right. The pillow next
to me.
Hell no.
So I just flicked them off.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I just flicked them off. And
No.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my! I would have left, and I would be like, "Oh, $1,000 for one night sounds like a deal."
Yeah.
It was literally the Roach Motel.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, that is.
And I assume it came from the cracks in the walls and stuff, and that's why I was in there. And I talked to Rochelle. She's like, "Did you say anything?" And I'm like, to
the concierge.
Right? I've been looking for him.
And I'm just
That's
like,
Ronaldo.
I told her, I'm like, it would be pointless.
Yeah.
I'm like,
They
I
would
got
not
one
care.
more night here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to sleep, and if the thing crawls in my ear in the
Is
middle
one
of the
enough
night,
or you need more?
whatever.
Yeah.
It was one of the grossest rooms I've ever stayed in.
Oh man, when you literally have a cockroach in the bed with you.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
was-
about as bad as it gets.
I was on FaceTime with Rochelle, and she's like, any more bugs? And I go, hang on a second. I look down and go, oh yeah, here's one. And I turn around and I just showed it to her. There's bugs crawling on the floor and stuff. And then so I make it through the night. The next morning, I'm getting up and I'm brushing my teeth. I'm totally naked, okay? So getting the showers running and everything. And I saw another roach crawling across the vanity.
God.
And Kathy, I was going to take a picture or a video of it, but I was fully naked and standing in front of a mirror.
Yeah. Let me ask you.
Hey, look at the roach. Meanwhile, my nuts are hanging out.
What did you do with your luggage for fear that you get a cockroach in your luggage?
I'm glad you brought that up because I did think of that. I had it on the little rest thing, but Kathy, I had left it open. And so I thought of you. So when I got home eventually, yesterday when I got home, I took every piece of clothing out and I shook it out. And then I left once I got it all cleaned out, I took that right to the wash, and then I left the suitcase open in my garage.
Yeah.
If there was any hitchhikers, I wanted them to crawl out. Go free, roam in my garage.
That could be an issue.
So I
How
did
the
that.
hell did I end up in Harleysville?
But this was I think this was my favorite part.
Yeah.
So
there's more?
well, there was 2 parts. So as I leave
I feel
that morning
nauseous a little bit.
at like 8:15 in the morning, I step outside to go to my car, and I just hear this is 8:15 in the morning. There's a car like two sections down from where mine is, two parking spaces down from where mine is. There's no one in it. It's running. The music is cranked up to where the car is shaking. There's no one around. It's running, and it's just, I'm like, okay, did they go to bed? Did they sit there all night? And they had a full tank of gas, and it made it till the morning? I don't know. But anyhow, so that was one. And then I'm pulling out. I drive by the Denny's. I'm making a right it's on a main thoroughfare, and I had to make a right, and Waze had me going up, and I needed to go the other way. I needed to make a U-turn. And so I go up, and I'm pulling to turn, and I see this woman standing out in front of the pawn shop, which was across the street from where I was, just to give you an idea. And the liquor store was next to the pawn shop.
Yeah, you got them all.
You can pawn your stuff and go right over and get your booze immediately. But there she was. Casey, it was like right out of Breaking Bad. Do you remember the hooker named Wendy?
Of course.
There's Wendy
Oh,
standing on the street corner looking at me, and she like pulls her hair out and like starts shaking it. Look at it. This is 8:15 on a Sunday morning.
Well, it's not going to jerk itself.
On crack whore hooker.
Man.
Wow.
Trying to wave me down. And I'm
much was she?
I'm turning my head around. I'm like, are there no cops around to see what's going on here?
No. I wonder if it's a package deal with the Denny's.
But that's where I ended up, and that was $170 a night. I couldn't believe it.
Next year, you're going to take advantage of what the Phillies do for us.
I am, and listen, I wouldn't have done that had my situation not changed as rapidly as it did with my sister and having to help her out. And it was fine. Look, I'm fine. It didn't traumatize me or anything. More than anything, I found it kind of humorous and just going, well, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Well, of course, this is the way it's going to be.
in Florida, you're dealing with the cockroaches and palmetto bugs, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
all that
stuff is
all
there.
that
And it's a
stuff.
constant, in a motor lodge which are traditionally the cracked window, in under the door, the loud, because your door opens to your car, the parking lot.
Yep.
There's a whole plethora of things that make it a substandard way to travel.
Cockroaches. But listen, here's the thing I did really feel bad about, though, is because, I paid $170 a night for that, and I can afford that, okay? I can afford that.
Yeah.
The people that were staying there, that were on vacation, that can probably just barely afford something like that, and this is the best they get out of that, I felt really
Well, they should do better by them, too.
They should.
The business should do
That's
better.
what I mean.
Yeah,
How was the pool?
Yeah.
Actually, it looked okay.
Okay. All right.
There wasn't anybody in it when I checked in at 10 o'clock
Listen,
at night.
I've spent my years, and I've stayed at motor lodges, and actually some are better.
Yeah.
But it seems, and I've had them. Press, I told you I stayed at a motor lodge. Claire and I walk in. It was just the only place. It's fine. I don't, it doesn't matter. Let's see how this is. We go in. There is a bunk bed. A bunk bed. Well, hon,
I'm on top.
what do you want?
Yeah. By the way, so I saw worse places across the street from the Days Inn. I'm sure that's where Wendy would have had me go with her because they were, no-tell, motel type of things.
Next to the pawn shop, that's
and liquor store.
I can't believe you were able to sleep at all because if I were and maybe I'm spoiled by it, but I don't think after seeing the bugs. Yes. Yeah, after seeing the bug,
dude.
I know you were just laughing it off, and I understand the circumstances behind all of it. I just don't think that I literally would have been able to fall asleep.
I was so tired. I'd spent all day moving and doing all that stuff. I'm like, I had such an effort attitude.
I'm really glad you didn't start where we were and then end up in that Days Inn.
True.
Because that would have been a terrible difference between the
that's
two.
a good thing I stayed in a rat hole the whole time.
Well, luckily you'd stayed at the Econo Lodge, so you had already been pampered.
Yeah. It gave me some appreciation.
How was the air conditioner? Because they're routinely super noisy.
Really noisy, but I don't mind that because I like that loud white noising. And it was when I got in the room, it was, and we're talking Florida, it was freezing cold. It was set to 61 degrees.
What? Jesus.
It was like an ice box when I stepped in there. So I don't mind that because I like it kind of cold. So thumbs up to Days Inn on their air conditioning unit for me.
Okay,
Kept the room cool.
But I gave them, I very rarely give my reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I gave a scathing review, and I wasn't mean about it, but I was just told the facts.
Honest.
I'm like, this is what I experienced, and this was very, very
insufficient number of cockroaches.
At any point, did you consider bunking with Kathy because she had the suite, the extra room?
I said to him that I had a king bed in there. I said, had I had 2 beds, there were 2 bathrooms in there, I would have absolutely had him stay there.
And I appreciate that because that's stepping way out of Kathy's comfort zone. To invite me to stay in the same room with her.
But I wanted it. I was glad Casey had to put his luggage somewhere the last day because he was coming home on Friday, and he put it in my room. He used the shower. I had a friend come in from out of town. She used the shower. Like, I was actually glad that people got to use this big room that I had.
But the nightmare part of the trip, the Econo Lodge was okay.
Yeah,
the
it was
nightmare part was when you were further away from. It would have made sense to go back to Kathy's room.
No,
just for the sex.
But it was, the Econo Lodge turns out was wonderful.
Oh my God! The nightmares come flooding back. Though in a way, all the years and listen again. If that was the only option, you expect to not have cockroaches, but there is a kitschy element to motor lodges.
Sure.
Which I used to like. The 1,000 Fingers massage, the bed where you put the coins in and they would vibrate.
Yeah.
I
stayed in places like
trains,
that.
planes, and automobiles.
I forgot that the first night that I pulled in the parking lot, as I'm walking around to where my room was, another, car that was just like this. And there's 2 teenagers in there. They're smoking weed. Fine.
Yeah.
But you got the music cranked up that loud. You do not realize that it's drawing attention to you.
Right.
Smoking weed right there.
Idiots.
Was it, which one was it, Preston? Was it the one closer to St. Pete here? Or, because I want to look at to see if there's any other reviews.
It probably is. I have the address, but I don't know offhand. But yeah, that's.
Read Preston's if you can find it.
I'm going to see if I can find it. Because
There's a Denny's next door to that one.
Yeah.
Were you anywhere
conveniently located next to a hooker?
Was there a Popeye's Chicken nearby or a Fray's Donut House?
No.
All right.
So it was probably the other one.
Was there a Coach store?
That wasn't on property.
Yeah.
Nick, I think that's it right there.
Here's the Denny's.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that's...
And you see those pictures?
Yeah. That's not what it looks like?
All right. No way.
Not even close.
Wow. It was, it was a hell of an experience.
So what did you do? Did you just walk over to the Hermes store and kill time? Or?
Oh my gosh.
And I went into the Denny's, but I did appreciate it.
Denny's I'm a Denny's fan.
It was okay.
Yeah, substandard Denny's.
But you do get something down south that I still find endearing, and like the servers, the gals that were working there were calling me sweetheart and honey and stuff like that. And I just that kind of eased. That was nice.
Well, it's home for you.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for you, but Preston, the internet that I paid for on my flight home barely worked.
Preston, read this top review here.
Okay.
This is 2 days ago.
Okay. Worst room. Do not stay there. No internet to use. Yeah, there was no internet, by the way.
Wow.
Thankfully, I had a hotspot.
Yeah.
No coffee makers in the room. Air conditioner was right up to the side of the bed, blowing cold air all night. Light switch didn't work. Dirty room. Looked like blood stain on the floor. No hot water in the shower. No lounge chairs by the pool. Decor very worn. No hair dryer. 2 tiny pillows per bed. Very undesirable characters hanging around the hotel. They saw Wendy.
Yeah.
No hospitality drinks like coffee or water. No stars given to this hotel rating. 0 rating.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the most recent review. Yeah, and all of them are.
Here you go. No, the room was extremely dirty, run down. The air conditioner is sitting on the floor with the bed up against it. No breakfast was offered, even though it was advertised. There was no coffee in the lobby or room. Definitely the place to go if you need to get your drug fixed.
Oh my God. So clearly, the reviews don't matter. If you can go through there, I'm looking at 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5, and they haven't done anything to remedy this.
To that point, so there was growing up, there was a motel like this near where I lived. It was right off of Sunrise Highway, and Casey, it was about where you go to get laid during the day. In fact, Kathy, it's where Joey Buttafuoco
and Amy Fisher went.
It's exactly, and it was exactly this scenario, Casey.
Here's another review, Nick. Pull up. This place is a dump. The floors will turn your feet black. The electric is not up to code. The fixtures in the bathroom are falling out of the walls. Also, dirty stains on the walls along with couch roaches at night.
Oh, man.
My guess is you didn't read the reviews before booking it.
Kath, I was in a hurry.
I know.
I was in a hurry, and normally I do take a peek at the reviews, and I clicked around. You know how when the map pops up when you're looking for hotels, and I just started finding the lowest numbers.
Roach Lover's Pick.
And I started there, and...
and that was it. You stopped there.
Kathy was like, why didn't you stay at the hotel your mom used to work out, the Don Cesar? I'm like, I looked at it. It was $750 a night. Insane.
Oh, man, though.
I think you stayed at that particular Days Inn the wrong night of the week, Preston, because right now, tonight, it's only $69.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
did you even ask for the presidential suite?
I didn't.
No.
I should have. I should have tried to upgrade. Maybe it's a wholly
Do you have
different thing.
something for the businessmen who come in from out of town?
Here's another one. The room was dirty and had dead roaches on the floor. The air conditioner was broken. The staff said we could, quote, stay or go. When I called about the air conditioner being broken or a discounted rate, if it couldn't be fixed. So the gal that was working the counter as I walked in.
The people person.
People were asking her questions. And I couldn't quite overhear what they were asking her, but she would just look at him and go, no.
Yeah, they don't care.
And the guy was going, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, sorry, no. And just shaking her head.
Service. Yeah, it's a service industry.
You know, I'm kind of glad that I stayed there.
Yeah.
Just to get a glimpse at what really crappy service is like, and really
to compare it to
quality conditions are like, and it sucks that that exists.
But there are economical ways to travel where and businesses and companies actually care and will provide.
Yeah.
Well, at least make sure your room doesn't have an army of cockroaches ready to perform a kick line for you.
Hey,
Crawled across my pillow next to me.
Well, and you know what though? Sorry, Case. Real quick, you said you paid $170 for that room. So what we paid and our accommodations was less than $100 more.
Yeah, it was $270 a night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big difference for $100.
Big time.
Yeah.
Nick, I'm curious as to what the review, because there's a review that's 3 out of 5 stars, which isn't bad.
It's probably Wendy.
Were there any reviews that were more than 3 out of 5? And what do they say?
Well, by the way, the 3 out of 5 said the floors were dirty, the toilet had toilet paper in it, the sink had hair in it, the tub, although it was old, was clean.
That gets you 3 stars.
They gave a hand towel and a bath towel.
That was it, huh?
Yeah. That was it.
2 out of 5, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5. I mean, they're all. Oh my God, this one actually has pictures of the roaches.
There you go. Oh, I recognize that guy.
So
that must have been room 151.
I'm assuming nothing higher than a 3-star, right?
I haven't gotten anything other than 3. Yeah, Steve, here's more photos of the roaches. I mean, it's just one terrible review after another.
So my review didn't mean squat.
No, I guess not.
3 out of 5.
You know what? You should have gone the other way.
All right, here we go.
Best motel of my life.
Here's the 3 out of 5. Room was decent, comfortable bed. Wi-Fi was exceptionally poor at my room. Wi-Fi from Red Roof Inn across the side of the street was better.
From the
so they were getting it in that hotel. There was a Red Roof Inn next to it. Neither would connect to my phone at night. Didn't get to use the pool. It looked nice, but there was no shade on the deck. Ice machine was a major trek all the way around the building to the lobby.
By the way, when you're in a motel, you obviously have all the parking lot lights right there. How was the drape curtain situation? Was it good?
It covered the window.
All right. Well, there you go. That's a win.
Well,
well, listen.
It was a very humbling weekend.
You made some friends.
Yeah.
The 2 teenagers and the hooker.
So we're routinely looking at these. All right, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5. What's the overall rating, Nick? Is that false advertising?
2.8.
How is that even possible?
I don't know, but Casey, apparently some of these you can't give 0 stars. Even in the reviews, they say 0 stars. But the way that the Google reviews work, you have to give at least 1 star.
1 star for poor.
Yeah, for not good.
Well, memories.
Sometimes, excuse me, it's worth paying the extra money.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I get it. I've been in situations where, and throughout my life, I've not had 2 dimes to rub together, and you do what you have to do. But even in Preston, even in the bunk bed motel, there were no bugs.
Yeah. I mean, like at the shore, there are small hotels. They're designed for. You're going to be spending all day at the beach.
Yeah.
So you're really not going to be spending a lot of time here.
Yeah.
You're going to be outside.
And it's economical.
So they give you minimal. Where I was, there was no beach. There was nothing nearby.
It was a Denny's.
There was the pawn shop and the liquor store and the Denny's and Wendy out front offering her services.
You should have gone over to the pawn shop just to take a look at what was in there.
I should,
especially in that area. Would have been pretty amazing.
Wendy was the highlight, I think.
It was actually
At least
the
Wendy
tourism
was there.
board.
It was a nice capper to the when I checked out. You know,
where are you going?
I'm looking at these. I feel like that this is false advertising.
It is, but Case, a lot of that I feel like happens. A lot of false advertising.
That's why you always have
reviews
to
when how it.
You're saying how does 3 stars get all those 1 stars up to a 2.5,
2.8,
yeah,
and
2.8,
I think it's because they have 2 different scales. One is 1 out of 5.
Did you live?
I'm sorry, it's a 5-point scale and a 10-point scale, right?
Yeah,
because I've seen these reviews. One's a 5-point scale, one's a 10-point scale. So if you have a 10-point scale, you're more inclined to go, I'll give it a 3 out of 10, right?
I see
but then it gives it a
right.
It puts that to the 5-point scale.
And you get into decent range quicker, right?
Yep,
so
Yep, exactly.
I think you need to sue them for $10 million, Preston.
Real quick, I want to go to Jack. Hi, Jack. Good morning. Jack, you're on the air, bud. Sorry for keeping you on hold for so long. What's up, my man?
Well, similar circumstance. We're down at Sebring, Florida for the 12 hours of Sebring. Sebring is like dead middle of Florida.
Okay.
And anyhow, my father-in-law decides that he's going to get us a hotel room that's very inexpensive, owned by, let's say, a fairly elderly couple who is, pardon me, who is running the show, and it doesn't look good. And anyhow, long story short, what winds up happening is we get our hotel room. We get in there. It's awful. It's dirty. It has one of those beds that you put coins in.
Yeah,
it.
Thousand fingers. Yeah.
And bathroom.
Yeah.
We did try the bed without having bath, just to try the bed. But anyhow, it was so bad that in the morning she got up and she actually went into the shower and showered with her socks on.
Oh my God!
Rather than step on cockroaches.
Yes. Shower, socks, trash, done. Never staying there again. It was.
Yeah.
And
it was only $38 a night.
38 bucks. You paid 170, Preston? Holy hell. 38 bucks. There was a place
Jack.
we went to one time, Preston. Again, another motor lodge where we had desk, no office at the motor lodge. And we're like, how do you check in here? And then someone finally says, go over to that bar. Go over to that bar. We go over to the bar. You check in at the bar diagonally across the street. And under the bar is a row of hooks with the door keys on them.
Uh-huh.
Casey, just going back to the reviews, like some Google reviews are 5 out of 5, but like Priceline, Expedia, some of those are 10 out of 10 or whatever. And so I think that's kind of how they get skewed a little bit. Review that's 10 out of 10, except that this woman who posted it named Kimberly, she thought she was giving it 10 out of 10 for being the worst possible place that it could be.
That could be it. Yeah,
So that put it in the wrong direction. But yeah, most of these reviews are just not very good.
Hang on. Mike worked in hotels, actually knows the hotel I'm talking about. Hi. Mike, you're on the air. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. Honor to talk to you. I started in the hospitality industry in '96 right out of high school in Central Florida and came back up here. That hotel has been acquisitioned at least 5 times. It originally was built as a La Quinta.
Okay.
It is in probably the DEFCON 1 area of that part of Central Florida. It is just known to be an area that even the cops won't mess with it because it's so bad.
Wow. Lucky you, Brett. Now, I've stayed at La Quintas. La Quintas that have been very good. Yeah.
Hey, I survived.
Yes.
I made it.
Oh, my God.
The reason it's getting that online, a lot of these owners will flood the website with anonymous email addresses to try to get the rating up.
Yeah.
They know they have bad reviews. They're trying every trick in the book to flood the system so that way the score keeps going up.
So, Mike,
5 stars like crazy.
Quick question to Casey's question earlier. So you're just bombarded with these horrific ratings, even with a whole list of terrible reviews. Can these places still generate money?
Down there, the realty market is so insanely hot, it's nuts. Because I feel for what landlords are saying, and the amount of value that house is worth. The whole area is such a hot realty market.
Yeah.
People are getting sold out and kicked out and being homeless all over.
It's horrible.
Dude, it's like my sister's on the verge. Is so substandard, and the amount of rent that's being paid, it blows my mind. Florida is just, I know this is a big, bold, blanket statement, and I don't really mean it, but I hate Florida. My experiences in Florida is way different than what you guys normally have, and I just want to flush that whole state.
My parents
I hate it.
From Hatfield down there in '89, I went to high school down there. And to see the amount of change that has happened down there blows my mind. It's now cheaper to live up here.
Well, what you're having is in a lot of areas around the country is you're like we talk about in California, the middle class is getting chased out as these tectonic shifts take place. And and then so normally we'd have an affordable home and you'd be able to conduct a life that would be pleasant. You're flicking cockroaches off the pillow next to you.
Yep.
I'm good friends with a meteorologist for ABC in Tampa down there, and I know that their I-team down there at ABC Tampa has been trying for years to investigate They call it the cost of living in Tampa Bay, and it's just mind-blowing to see what they have uncovered. It is scary to see how bad it's getting down there. It's sad.
Yep.
Because I love the area, but it's just a shame.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the call, man.
Anytime, Preston. Thanks again.
All right. See you, bud. All right. So, yeah, it was an experience.
Though I
Best way to avoid all of this, phillysportstrips.com. That's how you avoid it.
To be honest. And there were so many people on that trip, as you said before, that just glowing reviews. They handle it all so.
God.
Listen, to the point. I get you. Not everyone is made of money, and obviously that's the case. So, and all my years,
and check out the locations first.
But airfare, accommodations, transportation, food. I don't know how much in the way of food and beverage, but some of that
excursions and
all that stuff. It's all covered, and they treat you like royalty, man.
Well, we talked about the fact that they all went on the trip and they were looking at their seats and saying, "Well, these seem like substandard seats." What they didn't realize is they had suites. They had fully stocked suites at the ballpark with all sorts of amenities, and it was super nice, super cool.
Everybody, oh my God, great. So you can Phil's. Yes, exactly.
Though I do say,
start a review site.
Well, listen, when you were touring with the band, or when I was doing stand-up for almost a decade plus, I stayed in it, and there are certain places that have charm. I got it, but I wouldn't trade those stories for the world. But I mean, cockroaches. Bug infestation, that's where you got to draw the line.
One last call, because Wes has been on hold for like 20 minutes, but we do have to take a break, so I apologize. Wes, let's...
The sheets, there's like lighters when you lift up the covers.
Hey.
The bathroom had cigarette butts in the sink.
Okay.
And it was a little scummy. And the curtains were like, you could see between the curtains, like a little shadow kept like walking by our room. Literally looking right in our window.
Oh my God. You're the guy that worked there peeping in your window.
Yeah, he was the Indian guy at the desk. Like, my wife had gone in first and said she was like asking a lot of questions, like, "Are you by yourself? Do you have family here?" And I'm like, "Whatever, just it's probably fine."
Right.
But then I'm like, wait, this guy, he really is looking in here. So I snuck up. I'm like, open the door instantly, right as he's looking in, and he was all flustered. And I was like, "What's going on?" He was like, I see nothing. I see nothing. I work here if you need something, like whatever you need." And
right.
I was alcohol in his breath.
Oh my God. Occasionally I like to pleasure myself.
Oh my God,
I hope you don't mind.
I'm doing it outside.
Yeah.
And I won't get any on your window.
Oh my God, dude.
It was a very weird experience. So I'm all creeped out. And like, I was kind of sick too, out of cold. I'm like, all right, let's get the F out of here. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
tried to get my money back.
Yeah.
And, he was like, I said, "Hey, can I have my money back?" He said, "You were here for an hour." His English is broken. So then, like, we just got in the car
and just took off.
Leave.
Yeah.
He starts walking towards my car. My wife's like, "Just go, honey, go." So
he's playing with it.
It's creepy.
That is horrifying.
Yeah. So then the next day we woke up, we were all confident. It's not nighttime anymore. We're like, all right, let's go back there, get our money. He wasn't there, and she talked to this lady who couldn't really speak English. She said, "Oh, this guy was peeping." And they're like, "Oh." And they ended up sending our money to the Airbnb we were staying at in California. The owner sent it to us. But
okay,
it was a creepy experience.
No, clearly a lot of fun. All
right, thanks, Wes.
He reminds me of a point I just heard quickly, and it's something to impart. A piece of advice I heard that I thought was very salient: when women are checking in or they're traveling by themselves, when to them, don't. If the concierge or the person behind the desk says your room number,
right,
ask for another room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not supposed to say that out loud.
Yeah, they're not supposed to say it out loud. They're supposed to write it down and show
somebody
you.
else in there
Got
can
it,
hear what room you're in. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Nope. That's a good point.
Yeah, they wrote down my suite number.
Yeah.
When I got my keys to my
Shut
hotel
up.
room.
I hate you. We were getting ready to get on the plane. We were standing in line, and Nick and Andrea and I were like, "What row are you in?" "Oh, 36. 36. Kathy's like, "I'm in number 1. I turn around and go, "F you." She was lying.
Yeah.
Just busting my balls. So, all right. Anyhow, it's Preston's travel trips this morning on the Preston and Steve show. But otherwise, it was a great time.
It was great.
It was awesome. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and we have some bizarre file stories to share. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve
On 93.3 WMM.
For traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Sorry about the tardiness of the B file, but we're going to get into now. Brought to you by Pro Team Collision, your certified collision repair center. If you get into an accident, Pro Team Collision is there for all of your auto body repair needs. A flight attendant accidentally hitting a cockpit switch is the likely explanation of how a Boeing 787 Dreamliner went into a terrifying mid-flight dive this week.
Whoops!
According to a report, about 50 people were injured last Monday when the LATAM Airlines flight between Australia and New Zealand suddenly dropped, throwing passengers and crew into the cabin ceiling.
There's footage of this.
U.S. industry officials briefed on a preliminary investigation of the incident told the Wall Street Journal that the plunge may have been caused by a flight attendant hitting a switch on the pilot's seat while serving a meal, inadvertently activating a motorized feature and pushing the pilot forward into the controls.
It's right out of an airplane.
The switch, which has a cover, is not supposed to be used when the pilot is sitting at the controls. A spokesperson for the airlines initially said the jet had suffered a technical event during the flight, which led to a strong movement. The airline declined to comment further until the investigation into the incident is complete.
We are sorry about that.
But she literally bumped into the wrong thing, and it led them into a nosedive, and 50 people were hurt in the whole thing. Wow. A man is in jail after deputies said he shot a woman who wanted him to get his 6 cats out of her house. 59-year-old Glenn White shot a woman that he was staying with several times because she asked him to put his felines outside. The victim survived the shooting, though deputies said she sustained 10 shots all over her body.
10 times?
It says she sustained 10, yes. According to the arrest report, White had been evicted from his home, and the victim invited him to stay at her residence. White brought 3 cats with him to stay with the victim and brought a new cat home each day. By the time of the altercation,
I found another one.
White had brought in 6 felines. According to the victim, she and White had been arguing for the past few days about the cats living inside the home. She stated that she was tired of having the cats in the house and told White she would be putting his cats on the lanai.
Not the lanai.
Apparently, that was the last straw. As the victim went to collect the cats from White's room, deputy said White stood in the doorway of the room. When the victim turned around, White shot her at multiple times, saying, "I'm going to kill you, bitch."
Wow.
How many times have I shot you?
Was taken to the hospital in an unknown condition. White has been arrested and is being held at the Lee County Jail on $25,000 bond. $25,000. He shot this woman 10 times.
That's attempted murder.
Okay.
Yeah. But usually cat people are a little bit more, complacent.
Are they?
They shoot you 3 times.
A supermarket employee. Here you go. Here's one of our home run stories of the day. He was probably staying at the hotel I stayed at.
Okay.
A supermarket employee pleasured himself onto produce and other unsealed merchandise, according to Colorado police.
Wow.
Who say that videos of the activity were found during a recent search of the man's residence.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Mazzalta was busted last month on charges that he pleasured himself outside numerous coffee shops and businesses in the Fort Collins area. At the time of Mazzalta's arrest, cops executed a search warrant at his home and seized electronic devices containing incriminating video evidence. That cache, which investigators are still reviewing, resulted this week in additional misdemeanor and felony counts being filed against him.
And he finished off on produce?
Yeah, exactly. Since his arrest, Mazzalta has been held in the lockup in lieu of $25,000 bond. The same as the dude who shot somebody 10 times.
10 times.
He is scheduled for a March 22nd court appearance on the new counts. The police probe has determined that he was employed at a Safeway store for a brief period ending last month.
I wonder why he got fired.
Videos recorded, Mazzotta, police allege, showing him pleasuring himself onto fruits, vegetables, and baked goods, all of which
baked goods
were not commercially sealed inside of the supermarket.
Oh, man.
The clips have allowed detectives
Hey, look, Cinnabons.
to identify alleged victims, some of whom are believed to be minors. As a result, Mazzotta has been charged with 16 attempted sexual assaults on a child account.
So who's worse, this guy or the guy who had the kill Donna who was shoving antiques up his ass?
I'm going to say the food guy.
Yeah.
As the probe of Mazzotta continues, police anticipate additional charges and more victims being identified.
Dear God.
Yep. All
People
right.
have too much time on their hands.
And then we'll do one more story and wrap it up. Let's end with this one. I have some other home runs, which we'll get to later on. But massive chunks of hail pelted parts of Kansas and Missouri on Wednesday night, bringing traffic to a standstill along Interstate 70. And storms unleashed possible tornadoes. And meteorologists urged residents to stay indoors. There were reports of 4-inch hail, nearly softball size. Descriptions of the hail range from the size of golf balls and apples to softballs and baseballs. Some cars in the neighborhood sustained hail damage. And Alex Sosnowski, senior meteorologist at AccuWeather, previously said the predicted hail was deemed gorilla hail.
Gorilla hail?
Because it had the potential to be so big. I had never heard the term.
The size of a gorilla?
Gorilla hail before. Gorilla hail is a term coined by Reed Timmer, a storm chaser who calls himself an extreme meteorologist. In this case, the term might fit. Some hail from north central Kansas into north central Missouri could be as big as a baseball.
So I guess this might have been what I was watching. The Weather Channel had a clip over the weekend, and it was a body of water, Preston, and the water just came alive with splashes.
Had to be.
It had to be the same situation.
All right, and there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. We'll take a quick break and come back in just a moment with some more of our Monday morning program. Stay put. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve.
Has only got.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kath. Case, what segment are we going to do? Yes!
Totally Presbo.
All right, I'm glad we're leading. I'm glad you decided to do Totally Presbo because I'm going to bring something out of my personal life and show it to you guys. Well, we were in Florida. If you missed the segment earlier, I was helping my sister move over the weekend, so we had to work very, very quickly. She had a lot to do and needed a lot of help. So as we were going through things, she would go through photos from time to time and find some stuff. Oh, here's this, here's that. I found a picture from something that I've told a story about.
Oh, really? All right.
Many times throughout the years. And it's not as great as I would like it to be, but and I will put this up to the webcam for those who want to see it. Do you remember I told you the story about going to my mom's work party?
Yeah. Oh my God, this is what I was hoping it would be.
And
the photo?
And she wasn't there, but all her coworkers were. And
she wasn't feeling well.
I got drunk and took my clothes off and danced on the table. I have a picture of the start of that.
Okay.
I don't have me naked.
All right.
But,
All right.
Because I've seen one of you.
Well, yeah, that was at a friend's house in my underwear.
Oh, okay.
This was actually at the party. I'll show Casey first, and then.
Oh my God! I know that pose.
And then I'll kind of show it around.
Wait. Who's the lady in front of you?
That's this gal Malaya. She was a friend.
Okay.
And
Now, remind me where your mother worked.
She worked for an interior design company.
Right. And then so it was the holiday party. She couldn't make it. You went in her stead.
Yes.
And you got lit up.
And so Malaya's mom worked there as well. So
Right.
that's why she was there. And I knew her. She was the only other person I knew.
How old are you?
20, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't quite 21, but I was drinking anyway.
Did
I'm
you?
going to show this to the camera.
Did you get? Did you get in trouble by your mom?
I got a talking to.
Yeah.
But I didn't get in trouble. Oh, this was here. It's got a date on the back, December 1987.
Wow.
So I would have been 19 then, actually.
Oh,
There you go.
So I listen. I know why you went, but why did you go?
Because Malaya, who is I was friends with, her mom, I think either owned it or worked there or something like that.
All right.
So did she suggest you go?
Yeah.
All right. So it was kind of casual. And she said, and maybe sometime during the night you can dance with your clothes on.
Yeah. And what's missing in this picture is I had the mirrored, like John Lennon specs, the round sunglasses. And I was wearing those most of the night, but they weren't. I think somebody's wearing them in the background. I think it was my friend Jim. He was there too.
So how did it, by the way, how did the evening wrap up? Did you have to be dragged out or what was.
Yeah. How did you
No, we just eventually stumbled out of there. And I remember, God, I was so drunk and I wasn't driving, but yeah, I started being an a-hole on the way out and knocking stuff over. There was a truck
I'm taking this.
in the parking lot that just had, I think paint cans or something, and I started throwing them out of there.
Real quick.
Like, what are you doing?
You mentioned that you had it for the YouTube stream, and since you mentioned that, the number of people watching on YouTube went up by a lot. So can you hold it up to the camera again?
There you go.
So the people who have not seen it yet can see. So
Yeah, I don't know. Can you see that all right,
Yes.
Kyle? Does that look okay? It's fuzzy. Oh, man. Do I need to pull it further away? Is that better? Okay, I was too close to it.
All right.
So you can see it's me in probably my Jordache jeans.
Jordache.
And Converse high tops with my shirt off. I had a sweater. It was wintertime, and I'm gesturing to the camera. Going like, yeah, man, woo. Those are definitely acid wash jeans.
Okay. All
You can see those. So, yeah.
And so they were all kind of, what was the median age of the people at that party?
I'm going to pull a little further back so it's not quite out of focus. Early 20. I mean, no, well, my mom's coworkers.
Employees, yeah.
They would have been in their 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. Something like that.
Which I think they would have loved it, I think if I was in a situation like that and that
for a
happened,
holiday party,
just as long as, the person wasn't being like belligerent, you know what I mean? They were just having a good time.
Yeah, do you remember what was being said or what was said after the fact, like by your mom's coworkers?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
I don't remember. I have another. This is a picture of me and my girlfriend at the time. You want to see big hair?
Yeah.
Now, it's a little bit dark.
Which girlfriend was this?
This was Patty.
Okay.
And so I went to her, took her to her prom. I'd graduated a year ahead of her.
Is this the girl with the Jewish family?
No.
No.
That was, I forgot her.
Dee Dee. I used to know her name.
So anyway, there was one time in the early 2000s when the internet was still, things like MySpace and stuff were surfacing. There was a series, there may have been a website of classic 1980s hair pictures.
Yes.
And me and Patty ended up on that.
Really?
And this was from that night because our hair was just gigantic.
Yeah.
If you can see that.
Yeah,
I'll
a lot
hold
of
this up.
hair.
It's kind of, it's a little dark in the photo, but I'll hold it up for those who want to see it on YouTube. But yeah, that was it. That's how it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
This would have been 1987 as well. That was a banner year for me.
Yeah.
What was it?
87.
You remember the prom theme?
No.
Okay.
She went to a Catholic, all-girls Catholic school.
So it's probably
St.
Jesus
Joseph's.
died for us.
Yeah, St. Joseph's Academy, the Jesus died for us party.
Wow.
anyway.
Yeah. Classic, though. That's cool.
I
So
gotta
you
look at these closer.
going
by
through all
the-
these pictures?
The whole art of pictures and photo albums, it's a lost art. I love it. We used to have two drawers in a desk in our hallway, and they were just filled with pictures. And I would just clean them out and just look at the old
Go through
picture.
them. Yeah.
Casey, over the last few years, I've done a thing at the end of the year for just as like a sort of Christmas present for the whole family, but it's just photos from the year. And so iPhone will do it, Google Photos, like you can go in and create them. But the reason I do it is that, and it ends up being like, I don't know, 70, 80 photos from the year.
Yeah.
Is because we don't print out any photos the rest of the year. So it's just a book.
Yeah.
It ends up costing like, I don't know, $35, $40 or whatever. Totally worth it.
Yep.
And for me anyway, it's a nice Christmas present and a cool way to just recap the year.
Yeah, I need to do that, too.
It's worth it,
It's like 2 clicks and it gets done.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe we'll get to that. So anyhow, I thought you guys would...
That was totally Presbo.
So saw this story, and with spring, first day of spring's tomorrow. The
Unbelievable.
Vernal equinox is tomorrow.
Wow.
So we're going to start getting the blooming. You can already start to see trees budding.
Yes.
And, obviously the daffodils came out, and I know we're going to get a little dip in the temps, but we're starting to get a little more spring-like. But I saw this, which means we're going to have the arrival of the seaman trees,
Yes.
before you know it, which are the Bradford pear trees, which smell very, very strong of manly essence. And this is, I'm wondering if this might happen in this. So this is out of Missouri. The Missouri Invasive Plant Council and Missouri Department of Conservation will literally reward you with a new tree for cutting down your Bradford pear tree from your property with a buyback program that they are doing.
And why is this?
It's an invasive plant.
It is an invasive plant. Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah, we took ours down. I wasn't expecting that.
No, you weren't?
No. We took ours down earlier this year because it had gotten too big. And it's right next to our house. And they're also known to be kind of, I don't know, brittle's the right word, but they can fall over. And so,
so in a storm. What do they look like? Classic.
Oh, they have the beautiful white blooms.
Okay, so I've seen them.
Gorgeous.
Looks like semen.
They're actually really pretty trees.
Yeah.
But they. The one thing I don't like either is when the flowers come off of them, they make it just a mess all over the place.
So we're
like
exactly.
Yeah. I gotta
go get a
up.
towel.
Yeah.
We have a pear tree that is becoming precarious next to our like a pear tree, not a semen Bradford pear, and it. Maybe that's the nature of these kind of trees. It's gotten a little brittle, and we're probably going to have to take it down.
So it bears fruit?
It does bear fruit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, it's awesome, except for a couple of reasons. The branches go over our detached garage and constantly fill up the gutter. So they roll down.
Okay.
And then it also attracts tons of bees.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. So registration for this program starts next week, and people receive a Missouri native tree in place of the semen-smelling one. And apparently they're already starting to bloom in some areas. But, they look gorgeous, but apparently they're invasive, and they want to get rid of them.
Hey, speaking of spring on the horizon, I'm actually going to be celebrating spring on the horizon. Later on today, I'll be at the Rita's Water Ice on Eagle Road. Yeah, so
they're opening.
Oh, no. I'm going to be on the one on Sproul Road in Broomall. That's even better. That's my Rita's. So if you want to stop by, I will be there from 4 to 6 p.m.
Steve and I are going to be in Aston today.
Mulchworks?
Mulchworks, yeah.
No
That's
way.
not too far.
I'll tell you what, we'll stop over and we'll have some Ritas, and you can stop over and we'll eat some mulch.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice cup of mulch.
Ooh, licorice.
That is good
It's
mulch.
good mulch.
Yeah. All right, so anyhow, look for the semen trees to be blooming soon.
Totally Presbo.
All right, Stanley.
The cup.
The cup. Yes. And I guess if you just say Stanley, you're supposed to know.
Stanley.
Right? Yeah, that's
Stanley.
That's my Stanley. They're launching 3 new products this spring, Kathy. And I know you love your Stanley.
I do love
One of them a bidet?
What's that?
One of them a bidet?
No, not a bidet.
Okay.
No. The All Day Collection starts launching on Tuesday, April 16th with essential items designed to get you outside.
So more of a outdoorsy Stanley cup.
Well, it's actually not the cup. It is yes, it is, but it comes with some other stuff. So the entire collection is crafted out of recycled polyester. Is available in 4 colors. What color do you have, Kathy?
I have kind of like a light purple.
Hold it up so I can see it.
I would say that's a lavender.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's lavender. So 4 colors are black, cream, fuchsia, and rose quartz. And Ramon Glacé.
Ramon Glacé. So, it's just simply a color variation?
No, I don't. Do you have what it is exactly?
There's some more stuff that comes with it. So, by the way, what color is fuchsia? What is that?
Like a bright
magenta.
Yeah, bright color.
Magenta reddish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pinkish reddish.
So if you already carry around the iconic 40-ounce Stanley Quencher, wherever you go, the all-day 40-ounce Quencher carry-all.
This is what I have. I have the 40-ounce Quencher.
Okay, so the carry-all will make things so much easier. The polyester sleeve wraps around your Stanley with a detachable crossbody strap.
So you can carry it across
so that you can
your body.
carry it with you hands.
So this is for like hiking.
Steve, it's like a bandolier.
Absolutely. It's tactical. It's what Clint Eastwood would wear.
Excuse me, I have to have a sip. That's my 40 ounce. Yeah, you boys like the color. It's fuchsia.
So it's a bandolier that you can wear your Stanley with. So.
Okay, and it looks like it comes with like a holder on each side. Maybe
For
you
your
can
bullets.
I don't know what you can. Yeah, it looks like maybe you can like stick your phone in there.
Yeah. So it has 3 pockets to hold cards, a phone, and other essentials like keys. There's also a sleeve perfect for sunglasses.
Oh, so it's carrying a lot.
Okay. Forget bulky coolers or warm drinks with also the Julienne mini cooler.
So it makes French fries.
No. I don't know who Julienne is.
The son of John Lennon.
No, that's Julian. Julienne.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Julienne.
So is the idea that you're going to drink basically with all this crap attached to it?
Well, no. So what he's talking about now is a separate product. It's a cooler.
Yes, it's the Julienne mini cooler, which fits 10 cans and keeps them cold for 12 hours. There's a detachable shoulder strap and snap top handles to carry it by hand, and a front zip pocket adds extra storage.
I'll probably get this.
So this is not
Julienne mini, please.
So this is not part of the Stanley collection?
No, it is part
of
it.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I like fuchsia.
Kathy, what I'm talking about is the actual cup with all the attachments and the card holders and all that stuff.
Yeah, so that was the first product.
Is the
you talked
idea
about.
that Preston, that first product, that you would drink that whole thing with all those attachments on it?
Well, yeah, it's a straw. All you have to do is hold it. The attachment just goes around the side.
Oh,
of it.
all right. Okay.
I think
so that's the all-day 40-ounce quencher carry.
To me, that's like carrying a suitcase with your drink in it and picking up your suitcase.
Steve, I think what they're doing is trying to make it so you're not carrying something else. So you're really not carrying a purse. If you can put your sunglasses, cell phone, and like slide some cards in there, then you're literally just carrying that.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. And if you're looking for a slightly larger option, there's the 14.8 quart Madeline MIDI cooler backpack.
I thought you were talking about a cup. I'm like, 14 quart cup?
Maybe I'll get this. I'm thinking for the pool, I need a new cooler.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Oh, I might get this.
Just by the pool frolicking.
I do have a backpack cooler already, though.
This one holds 20 cans.
Son of a bitch.
It has the same hinge top opening and top handles as the mini cooler. But also,
keep my fruit in here.
It has adjustable backpack straps and stretch mesh side pockets.
How much? I mean, because like those Yeti coolers, like the Yeti coolers are way too expensive.
They are very
this
expensive.
Is the cooler that you're talking about now, the 20 can cooler, is 170. The other one, the smaller one, is 100.
I don't
$170 for a cooler.
You know why?
Go straight to hell.
What's Yeti? Yeti's more than that, no?
Oh my God,
yeah.
they're
Oh yeah.
so
And I
insane.
think that they're priced like that. People don't buy that for themselves. It's a gift.
Hey,
you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't spend $170 for a cooler for myself, but if I was, that was a price range of a gift I wanted to get.
Yeah. Or you could do one night at the Days Inn and say, so here's the deal, though. You can also expect your items to stay chilled for 24 hours.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
So I have one or two that are Yeti-ish, probably made by Yeti or a similar company that will keep something cold for a long time.
Look, the Yetis work. I have 2 Yeti coolers, and they keep stuff cool forever. I am impressed by it. They are way overpriced, but people pay it, so they can. Maybe they're not overpriced because people will pay what they're asking.
Well, then let me ask: did you buy those coolers, or were they? Oh, you did.
I bought both of them.
Yeah, I bought my Yeti coolers as well. And what I really liked about Yeti is the zipper on mine broke, and you contact them and they replace it. You don't have to buy a new one.
Do you know what's good though? These coolers would be good for transporting human organs, right? If they keep them that fresh, right? If it stays that cold.
Those coolers, I will. You can go to the beach for the entire day on a blazing hot, late July day, and I come home and there's still ice in there.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if they're good,
I've said this on the air before, but I left one in a Yeti in a car in the desert in Arizona for 3 days, and there was ice when we left, and there was ice when we got back. I mean, those things function really, really well.
The only reason I would get this and use this over my Yeti would be if it's any lighter, because that's my only complaint about the Yeti is that it's too heavy.
Right.
They're bulky.
Yeah. But they're probably that way for a reason. It's probably part of the thermo,
I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
the way it works. So, all right. Well, anyhow, Stanley has come out with these new products if you are indeed interested. Here we go.
Totally Presbo.
All right, we are approaching tax. Well, we're in tax season.
Yes.
But tax day is coming up.
I know you do all the tax.
I do. Everybody toil on with that stuff. No. Thank God for Rochelle.
No.
I don't understand any of it. And in fact, this story speaks to that. 1 in 5 Americans cannot define common tax terms like adjusted gross income or filing status, is according to a survey of 2,000 adults.
Yeah.
43% of Americans expect a refund. Respondents who believe they're getting a tax refund think they'll receive about $2,000, $2,023.50, which is down from last year's average of $2,338.40. 67% of those polled said if they did get money back, they would use it in a mature way.
Yeah. Buy a Stanley cooler.
Rather than in years past.
I did my taxes early this year, and I did it in anticipation of hopefully getting a refund. I don't know what the refund is yet, but the way that I see it is get it done as early as you possibly can, and then you have that money in your account.
Sometimes when you've had in years past that the refunds have been like lifesavers, especially when I was, not as consistent job wise, and you're piecing things together. It's like, oh boy, that's awesome when it comes through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the first time I went to a tax preparer by myself.
Oh yeah,
and they were like, "You didn't bring us anything." I'm like, "Well, what am I supposed to bring? What do you want?" I'm like, I didn't understand.
I thought I was going to give you my name.
I thought I was just giving you my name and
tax preparation wit.
Do your tax thing.
Yeah.
I'm Preston.
Yeah,
that's me. So where's my money?
Yeah,
the last 2 or 3 years, I've been owed money from the state of Pennsylvania. So you get a federal refund and you can get a state refund as well. And the state is so woefully underemployed by the tax department that in December of 23, I finally got the tax refund from 2021.
Wow.
And I haven't gotten the one back from 2022 yet, even though now we're obviously in 24. So it's sometimes these things take a while, and sometimes they take a really long while.
Wow. Okay. Well, anyhow, we're in the thick of that.
Yeah.
Deadline.
Always a joyous time. My eyes roll over.
All right, here's another one for you, Kathy. This guy, Peter Kastner, has reportedly seen and logged 10,000 bird species.
Oh, that's your jam.
He sounds so boring.
The 70-year-old bird watcher is the first person to achieve this milestone.
Do you know what it is, Kathy? It's that large African-American gentleman sitting on the edge of his bed with the penis hanging out.
Yeah.
Kastner visited the Philippines where he spotted an orange tufted spider hunter. And that was
amazing.
That was number 10,000 for him.
God.
Oh my God. And it's like
Not even that cool
so
of a bird?
stupid looking. It is. Kate, when we were in Florida, Casey was pointing out different birds and asking me if they were stupid or cool enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was we saw the blue heron. Did you like that?
That's
one?
pretty cool. You got it? Really?
I mean, I've seen them before. What? I've seen it before. It's boring.
You're asking the wrong audience.
Shut up.
10,000 birds.
I saw an osprey catch a fish out of the ocean, Kathy, or out of the
That's
Gulf,
awesome.
and then take off with it. And I was blown away, and I was glad that you weren't next to me because you would have ruined the
ruined it.
moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need another hobby.
Do you know where you'll find a
Drinking by the pool.
healthy osprey population at the John Hine sanctuary?
And down the shore, too.
It is pretty amazing.
They fly over our area with fish in tow quite a bit. It's pretty cool to
Badass.
see.
Yeah, I saw a red-tailed hawk yesterday, Kath. Thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't get tired of seeing those things.
Me neither.
I think they're so cool.
Birds of prey.
Yep. The world has about, so this guy has seen 10,000 bird species. The entire world has about 11,000 species of bird, which means that he's got about 1,000 more to go.
And right now he's seen that many birds and he's had his penis touched once.
Seriously?
About 60 people in the world ever have seen 8,000 species. Under 20 have reached 9,000.
Wow.
How many do you think you've seen?
11.
Wait,
Are you asking me
Oh,
that?
yeah.
I don't know.
Wait, so I did find something cool. A friend of mine got this and she sent me the link because I actually did think this was cool and it involves birds. So it's a bird feeder that comes with a camera inside.
I got it.
So, and you can like see that
Yeah.
it's an app. You can go on your phone and you can see the bird fly in.
So there's two types you can do. You can do the one with the two-way mirror, which is awesome. And then you do the one with the Wi-Fi camera, which if you have any sort of Wi-Fi outside your house, and it works like a charm. And they're there, and you might enjoy that. It's pretty cool.
She showed me some video from hers, and it was like up close.
And it is cool.
It was kind of funny to see the way they act when they fly.
Right?
in.
Yeah. Oh, that's thrilled.
Do you watch it live, Steve? Or
yeah, you can watch it live. Yeah.
But I mean, what do you do?
I haven't turned the thing on in forever.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
but it is a gimmick, and you kind of get bored after a while. The one that I think you use more, honestly, is the two-way mirror outside a pick a window. The one problem is that there'll be tons of bird feed below that. There'll be bird crap.
Right.
So it's you can't pick a part of the house that you really want to keep that clean.
So you have a two-way mirror so they can't see you, and you don't scare them away.
You don't scare them
and
away.
You can get a good close-up look. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Kathy, have you been to Hawk Mountain?
No.
Okay. Then I give up.
There's margaritas at different restaurants, Nick. I've been there.
Oh, this is really cool. Yeah, we're looking at the camera. That's I like that.
It is adorable. The one thing is that you feel. I think what it is, you feel a little bit detached with the camera as opposed to them right there. They're on the other side of it.
I would think
it's still. I find it enjoyable.
I thought it might be something good for the Easter bunny to bring.
You know, it's kind of fun though, Kathy. If you do one of those the bear feeders outside your window.
Bear feeder?
Yeah, you hang a side of cattle out there.
Yeah, right.
Beef.
Yeah, you hang a family.
They come up.
You hang neighborhood pets outside.
Every road in the neighborhood.
Steve, I know you're joking, but my in-laws live in the Poconos, and they have bird feeders, but they jokingly refer to them as bear feeders. They quite literally, especially right around now, because bears are coming out of hibernation.
Yeah.
They have to lower or put the bird feeders back in their home because the bears are just looking for anything to eat at this point.
Right.
Wow. All right, I got another story for you. Ooh.
Totally Presbo.
Porsche is launching a new upscale electric sports car that will be among the fastest in the world when it hits the market this summer. This is the horsepower. 1,093.
1,093 horsepower. So they have the Taycan, I think it is, right? Isn't that
the Taycan Turbo GT?
Right.
Which has already broken 2 racetrack records for an electric car. Accelerates from 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds. With the help of a launch control button.
I've heard people talk about. You remember you had the Lambo, and you were talking about that immediate power can be disorienting.
Cool. Yep.
A lot of people will get these things, and they'll do that turbo mode, and it's dangerous.
Yeah, some of them have. Yeah, they have this launch control.
Yeah,
and it's also supposedly. It's not great for your engine either. To use the launch control. I mean, the cars are built for performance, but. If you do that type of thing regularly, it's supposedly not that great for the vehicle, from what I've been told.
You and Andrea and I took Uber back from the airport yesterday to here, Preston, and we were in a Tesla, and I was impressed at how smooth it handled and how quick it handled.
That guy was hauling ass.
He was, and there was a point where we got on the Schuylkill to come back here, and he hit the accelerator, and you couldn't.
Oh yeah,
it was super smooth.
Yep. So this carries a steep price tag, about $230,000. The Taycan Turbo GT set a world record lap time at Germany's winding Nürburgring. Nürburgring.
At the Ermagerd.
Nordschleife track.
Yeah, the Ermagerd track.
Yeah. And the Taycan Turbo GT.
Right next to Gersperms.
With VSOC package.
Yeesh.
Recently earned the title of fastest electric series production car at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in California. 2 versions of the Taycan Turbo GT are currently available for pre-order. So if you got an extra 230 G's, you can put in for one of those.
I was telling you guys that Kathy and I saw one of the Cybertrucks out down in Florida, tooling around. It looks pretty badass, I have to say.
I think they're stupid looking.
Yeah, I did initially, but being up next to one on the road, I'm like,
it was pretty cool.
Pretty cool,
see. Yeah. I mean, it definitely stood out.
Stuck out.
What I don't like about it is that they stuck out.
Stuck is
has or have stooken.
There's a standard 4-seat version of the Taycan Turbo or the VSOC package.
Yes, I want the VSOC package, please. No!
Which ditches the back seats and other luxury items to cut down on the weight to make it faster. If you want it even faster than 2.1 seconds to 60.
What in the mother F would you use? I mean, my car, I think, is 620 horsepower. As odd as it seems, I never get up to 180 miles an hour on city line.
You don't?
Yeah. I mean, you've got more than enough power. I think where you want is like getting up and out of traffic or avoiding an accident. Who's going to get to use that?
Yeah, these guys they race these things, or they take them out on tracks and really push them. But you have to have money to burn.
I guess so. Yeah,
something like that.
You stay at the Econo Lodge all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You're saving up money for your turbo.
Kathy and I were walking across the street for dinner last week, and I hear this car. It's like, "Whoa!" And I look, and I thought it was a Porsche. And as it got closer, it was a Honda Del Sol.
Really?
Yes.
They don't still make those, do they?
I don't
All right.
even know.
So it was like 20 years old at this point.
Like what you see?
Did a little take room with it.
Yeah.
One last story.
Totally Presbo.
Voyager 1.
Yes.
The satellite has started to worry its NASA handlers. Following a few technical close calls, the spacecraft has been sending unintelligible gibberish.
What am I here for?
Since November last year.
What do I mean in the universe?
The behavior is still without a fix. And could be
It's gibberish.
ominous sign for this 47-year-old spacecraft. It's easy to forget the pioneering space probe, Voyager.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Voyager. The pioneering space probe Voyager 1 that's currently over 15 billion miles away.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
That's it. Wait a second, Preston.
Yes.
Do you believe by any chance that this Voyager has been captured by an alien civilization that has built an entire huge ship around it and it is now returning to Earth to dominate?
Which Star Trek movie was it?
Number one, the motion picture. Voyager. So they, by the way, this incredibly advanced race of machines didn't know how to wipe the dirt off a few letters on the side of the Voyager.
Oh my God.
So they just stuck with Voyager.
In what it's in what we call interstellar space. It's 15 billion miles away.
That's like a billion.
It's nearly 47 years
We
old.
talked to lead scientist Sylvester Stallone. How far away is that?
It's like a billion.
Thank you.
It's
Unbelievable.
Exactly.
I find it amazing that these things existed in 1977 at all, and that we're still communicating with them.
Yeah.
So, as far as STEM, would you like that to go on to your daughters?
My daughters?
Exactly.
So by the way, so it's nearing 47 years old after all, along with its near twin Voyager 2. It has far outlived its service brief and has continued.
You don't love me anymore.
To provide scientists with new discoveries and vital information for future space programs. Both crafts have had their fair share of issues due to old age and glitches. However, since November 2023, Voyager 1 has been communicating with Earth in alternating ones and zeros rather than proper binary, basically gibberish to the teams at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And this means that Voyager 1 can't relay science data such as environmental information that could help the team diagnose the anomaly.
Is there any way to correct it?
They don't know yet.
From a billion miles away? Probably not. I can't even get my phone to last for 24 hours. The battery, how is this thing still?
Stop and think about it.
40, 50 years later.
Let's think about how many Keurig machines do you go through? And here's this thing that's been going on like this with very antiquated technology.
Maybe you got to figure that, because it's antiquated, it's not nearly as complicated, and because it's not as complicated,
not as much can go wrong.
It lasts longer.
Probably uses solar power to.
I think it's a Briggs and Stratton, Preston.
Compounding the matter is that scientists have been stumped for a fix or a way to reset the affected systems. According to Suzanne Dodd, Voyager's project manager.
Well, I should talk to Suzanne Dodd. She's one of the leaders on this project. I have to go tap the main bank.
She assures that the team has been scouring old manuals and trying to get into the heads of the original developers and figure out why they designed something the way they did.
It is our desire to find out where the angels live.
To find a solution. It's actually kind of a little bit like that movie Space Cowboys.
Yeah.
The reason they sent the old guys up was because they were the ones that did all the tech.
Right,
And,
knew how to
and it
do
was
it.
so antiquated that they really didn't know practically how to work on it. It was a fanciful plot, but it's kind of similar.
I mean, if you stop and think, that distance is astonishing.
Yeah, 15 billion years. Or not years, 15 billion miles away.
It's like a billion.
It looks like this sucker's nuclear.
Is that from Space Cowboys?
That's from Back to the Future. But this guy actually is the Voyager one. Yeah, they uses plutonium oxide spheres, whatever that means, to generate power.
Okay, so it's got like an isotope. It's got it takes it years and years and years to decay.
That's right.
Okay. With Voyager 1 approaching 50 years old, the list of its aching problems grow. Many are cautiously holding their breath that this intrepid craft will soldier on, but its hardness will be no match for its depleting plutonium power supply.
There we go.
Last part of the story.
Still amazing. You know, I would be, listen, who knows? Sometimes things start working again, you know, so perhaps it will recommunicate. But I mean, you know, think of what it is encountering right now.
Casey, maybe we need nuclear-powered telephones.
Yeah, I think so. Instead of lithium-ion batteries or whatever, plutonium.
Yep,
that
go
works.
with that. All right. That's it for Totally Presbo. Going to wrap up the segment.
Totally Presbo.
Thank you for joining. We do appreciate it, but we do need to take a break, and we're going to do that very thing. We've got a concert announcement coming up later on. Of course, Word of the Week and all of that good stuff. So we'll be back in a minute. Stay with us.
Preston.
WMMR.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Real quick, I wanted to mention this was a shout out. I meant to get to this while we were in Florida, but we got caught up with everything we were doing. But this is unfortunately somebody passed away, and this is from Devin Snikaris. She said, "Hey, I'm not sure if you remember my dad, Mark Solly. He was a longtime listener for the better part of 15 years or so. He absolutely loved your show back in the day. He'd often call in, win contests, listen all day long while he worked, and I'm sure he met you guys many times." He knew all the personalities that you regularly had on and had opinions on all of them. He was very opinionated, to say the least. I attached a picture to help jog your memory. He passed away on Monday. I guess this was last week. I was wondering if you'd be willing to give a shout out and let listeners know of his passing. Anyone and everyone is welcomed at his service Friday the 22nd. Thank you so much. Your show brought him a lot of joy. Have a good day. And that's from Devin, his eldest daughter, which is Friday the 22nd. Today's the 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she sent a picture of him. You guys would recognize him. I'll show it to you. It's in my email. He's got this really long white beard. But
okay.
I was sad to hear that. And she asked if we pass that along and give him a shout out. So that was terrible.
How old is he?
She didn't say in the email, but he wasn't,
Yeah.
He shouldn't have passed away.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't expect.
So sad. Yeah,
it's terrible to hear that. But anyhow, just wanted to get that out there and mention that. So, wanted to switch gears for a second. I was going to ask Kathy. So while we were in Florida, I over the weekend I was so busy helping my sister move that I just kind of detached from
local news,
everything that was going on in the world. And I saw you guys on the plane, and Nick, or when we were waiting in the line for the plane, you were like, "Man, how about that? Did you see the story about this shooting in Bucks County in Levittown?" And I just seen the headline, and I know that they ended up getting the guy in Trenton, but apparently this went through Kathy's old stomping ground.
Yeah.
And there was a thing with your mom and your aunt, and what was up?
Yeah. So, it was an active shooter situation. There were two locations. He shot and killed his stepmother and his sister, and then he traveled to another section. So in Levittown, there are sections. So he traveled a few sections over and then killed the mother of his two children. He fled, carjacked somebody, went to Trenton. So it was for Saturday morning. I woke up to it and I was kind of following along because, it was right down the street from my old high school. And we still have family members that live in the area. And so police issued a shelter in place. So any of the residents in the area, all of the residents were getting messages to shelter in place, lock your doors, go to a central location in your home, don't be near windows. So, it was a pretty serious situation.
Very tense. Yeah,
for a while. And so my parents don't live there anymore, but I do have an aunt that lives there and some other family members. And so a lot of times my mom and my one aunt will, they'll message me, call or something and say, I got a text message that says, an Amazon package needs to be picked up and to click the link and call and give all my credit card information. So I'm forever going, no, it's a spam. Yeah. It's spam. Don't click it. Delete it. Like that's what I tell them all the time. Delete it. Just ignore it. Delete it. Don't even leave it in there and accidentally click on the link. So my aunt calls my mom on Saturday and she goes, I got this text message that says to shelter in place. My mom goes, oh, delete it. So I'm on the phone with my mom.
It's a scam.
I'm on
It's
the
from Amazon.
Yeah, it's a scam. Delete it, she tells her. So I'm on the phone with my mom and I go, how about what's happening in Levittown? She goes, what's happening in Levittown? So I tell her and she goes, oh no, I told Aunt Chris to delete the message. She goes, I have to call her back. I gotta go. She had to call my aunt, tell her, no, it's real.
Don't go outside.
Yes, stay in your house because
Everything is fine here. No need to worry. He's there, isn't he?
so where this guy was very close to where I grew up and where my aunt still lives. And so, my mom called her back and was like, okay, it's real. Don't delete it and stay inside.
Yeah.
So we've often gone to the well of these, scams that pop up and obviously how people get taken advantage of. But I wonder how often it works the other way around like this, Kathy, where you get this legitimate thing and you're like, oh, that's fake, gone, done. Delete it, and it turns out it was important, or maybe that offer that was a legit offer that came through to you, and you passed on it somehow or another.
I think the home run is Casey's story in this with your friend who actually won the vehicle that you had put him into the car.
Yeah. That was Jeff, my buddy Jeff.
Right.
Yeah, I won him a Hummer H2.
Yeah.
And he didn't tell me about it until like a couple of months later, and he's like, yeah, these people called me, and they actually called him back, and they're like, are you sure you won a car? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So you had entered him without his knowledge, and he won. Dude.
I know.
Oh, my God. Why? Let me ask you, why'd you enter him? Just legitimately so he might win?
No, I just kind of, mess with him, I guess. I don't know. Like, I was at a Villanova game at the Wells Fargo Center. And it was funny because I was telling him all this information without him telling me. So he knew that I was legit. He's like, that's exactly what they said. It was a Villanova basketball game. But, I don't know why I did it. Like,
well, the odds are, of course, staggeringly against you winning. But, of course, that happens. But I think, Preston, to your point, the converse situation is we get our radar is so up that everything is a scam.
Yeah.
And how do you delineate between the things that are not?
Yeah.
So in the case of a shelter in place, that obviously, who's to gain by that? It's and it seems pretty obvious. But there are things where, like, for example, the people who are being robbed in the city, we've detected a gas leak in your area. We're going to come by, they'll either text them or whatever, and then they break into the home or they unlock windows or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah, your guard should be up.
Yeah. I mean,
sure.
Better to err on the side of caution. But, I mean, if you're like, it's a shelter in place. Nah, it's Amazon. I probably have a package.
Or if it was an important work thing, or if it was an important medical thing. Or,
I'll tell you, my if it's important enough, they will send a certified letter. Like a lot of times, I'll always say to my wife, I said, if it's really important, they'll let you know. They'll get the information to you, and you will know. But err on the side of caution. Delete. Like, even here with our own email system, which I hate, though they've helped me tweak it a little bit. It's like if the information has to get to me, it will, because there's so many things that come in that are of a spam. I mean, it's just, you just get flooded with it. It becomes an entire job just to go through your email.
Yeah. Here's text says, years ago when TD Bank changed their debit cards to not have raised numbers and names, I threw it away because I thought it was fake.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I realized I never got my replacement debit card. So I called the bank and they told me that the new cards look like that. So I went through my debit card away and had to wait for a new one. So yeah, they had changed the appearance and they were like, oh, this thing's fake.
Well, yeah, because sometimes you'll get those like fake cards attached to, and it's just an offer to apply for
Activate your card today.
And that's what it is. It wouldn't have the raised number. So I understand that.
Hang on, let me go to Barry. Hi, Barry, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
What's up, Barry?
Hey, guys. So I work for a municipality, and when these text messages go out to corroborate and to legitimize them, we'll also put it on Twitter, on our Facebook page, on our Instagram, so that when someone is questioning it, they can go to another source, not controlled by possibly spammers, if it's like text messages, they'll go to another source and to see if it's legitimate.
Barry, would it help if the first text goes out followed up by a no, really? If you could send that out as well, just to verify. Like, how can you verify that first message still using text?
I think that's a tough one because scammers they look It's because they're going to do the same exact thing that any municipality is going to do.
Right.
But just like someone said earlier, there's nothing really for them to gain sending out like a shelter in place.
Right.
Maybe more so if we've done it in the past for evacuations for certain areas due to remember that there was a large gas leak, so we would just evacuate certain houses. But we're also going to send, in something like that, we'll send official personnel, cops, firefighters to your house.
Yeah. So do you hear a lot of scams of this nature where people will try to look official and prey on people?
Not necessarily in terms of, from municipalities, towns, or cities, but in other aspects. But we try and, put it out in different sources so that it looks legit.
I think if they were to make it more appealing to people, and instead of just shelter in place, how about socialize in place?
Socialize in place.
Okay.
Go
party.
invite your neighbors over.
Escape convict party.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate it, man. Here's a text. Somebody says I was getting letters from a bank saying they owed me money for a dishwasher that I bought from a local appliance store. I assumed it was a scam.
Yeah.
And kept throwing them away. 2 years later, I got a letter and a check from the state of Pennsylvania for twice the amount. Turns out it was legit.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Twice the amount. That's good.
Yeah.
Waited it out long enough.
Yeah, those are unclaimed funds.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
It's huge.
And I had that happen. I think it was last year, the year before. I can't remember. And I told you guys about it when it happened. But Steve, there was it wasn't a ton of money, but it was a few $100s, and it was from class action suits that I had never claimed. But the cool thing for me was the state did actually. I was complaining about the state and the tax refunds earlier in the show today. They did an excellent job of categorizing all of it, and so there were some back taxes owed from local taxes, and I filled it out. It was all legitimate, and they sent me a check for $250, $300.
Pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. But it didn't take that much work to dig it all up, to figure out if all the information was accurate.
That's a weekend at the Econo Lodge.
That's a step up from the days in. So I'd gotten one of those. Rochelle had gotten one, and I think she got a few $100s back. And then I'd gotten one, but I wasn't able to. The link wasn't working or something like that. I got to go back and follow through on that again.
Yeah, it took a few steps, but Preston, once I navigated those steps, it ended up being a really simple system. It took a little bit of effort to dig, and then once you find out if it's legit or not, then it becomes simple.
Okay. All right. So we had that happen while we were gone. Kathy's mom, or her aunt, needs to be aware of what's legit and what's not.
Erasing important messages.
But another thing that happened while we were gone involves a phone, and Marissa has a story that she wanted to share with us, and I believe this was actually at the ball game, right, Marissa?
It was.
Okay, so what did you experience?
I will be leaving out some details to protect the innocent or the not so innocent. My friend got a ball tossed to her during the game, which is very cool.
From a player?
From
someone.
From a player.
From somebody.
Not during the game. It was before.
Yeah. It was before the game. We were hanging out. We kind of staked out a little area on the ledge right near our broadcast, which was in the deep sun, which was a bad idea. So we were hanging out and obviously kind of big arms and making some room.
I see what you mean.
your wide space.
Spreading out.
Widen your arms out to make sure you save some space. Yeah.
And whether you are a little kid or an adult catching a ball, it is really exciting to get a ball thrown to you.
Yeah.
So at some point, my friend decided to write her number on the ball.
So the ball was thrown to her. She took the ball, wrote her phone number on it.
Yeah, and this didn't happen immediately.
Okay.
We were all hanging out, we were talking. There was lots of people around the space where we were.
Right.
Well, and your husband, right? He had seen this before, so he told her this is what she should be doing.
Yeah. We had to kind of convince her. She wanted to do it. In her head, it was kind of like a dream that this would be amazing. Whoever thinks that you could write your phone number down and toss it back to somebody. She did. We found a pen. She wrote her phone number down.
Was this someone? This is so.
She doesn't want to say who it is. She doesn't want to get anyone.
I just want to know whether it was a civilian. Was it a civilian?
No, they were down on the field.
There we go.
It was somebody on the other side of the fence, Steve,
Okay,
that we could not walk up to and speak to face to face. And later that night, she got a text message.
Question: was it the same one who threw her the ball, or was it a different person?
It was the same person.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was like
So he was already interested in the first place. Ball.
like these are things that like movies are made of.
Right,
This doesn't
right.
happen right
All
in front of you.
So she gets a text message, and
Yes.
then where did things go?
She left early that night
All right.
from when we were talking.
All right, good.
We were all hanging out together, and then suddenly she was like, "All right, guys, I'm going to take off for the evening."
Okay. Good.
And it was that. And, it wasn't that night. It was the night after. I should say that.
And then came the shelter-in-place alert.
Miles and miles apart, Steve.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if you do the math.
So did you find out? Did they hook up? I mean, we're not naming any names here. There's a lot of people that work in that organization,
they're
so
not
it's
gonna-
no big
yeah.
deal. Yeah.
For the sake of my friend, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
So they don't know who your friend is either.
Yes. So the answer would be yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was talking to Marissa's husband Matt about this, and I forget where he said he had seen it before. So he was saying he thought that's why the ball was tossed to her.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. You think it was like an intentional?
That's what Matt was saying.
So what are the odds? So these people that are on the other side of the fence in ballparks, so they will occasionally just throw a ball up into the audience.
Oh, wait, I do remember this, Kathy.
To the
because
spectators, the stands.
The story is Justin Verlander wrote his phone number on the ball for Kate Upton and tossed it to Kate Upton, and now they're married with kids.
Yes.
So it has like a track record.
So your
of
friend is
happening.
pregnant now.
Yeah, Steve, sometimes players will just toss them up, and usually it's a kid or a girl with very large breasts that they will throw the ball to.
Someone who sticks out from.
Yeah, for whatever reason, just caught your eye.
So I know a girl who's attractive, and what she did was they were standing at the bullpen above the ballpark at Citizens Bank Park, and they were standing. You know how the visiting team's bullpen is higher than the Phillies bullpen.
Yes.
So there was an attractive Reds pitcher, Cincinnati Reds pitcher, and they were just yelling down at him. And this was like pregame, they're flirting and stuff. And he looked back and he did the thing, Marissa, where he wrote his number down on the ball and tossed it up to one of the girls.
Wow.
Which I thought was pretty bold. And
That is.
they ended up hooking up as a result.
No kidding.
Yeah. So like, look, no harm, no foul, right?
You're young, you're in love,
Consulting
or
adults.
you're physically attractive.
Yeah.
You want to get it on.
In the prime of your life.
You want to make the lifetime of regrets.
There's nothing different than just being on an app and going back and forth or DMing somebody on Instagram, right?
This is
It's actually
kind of
just-
like a little more old school. Like
It is.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Like
better.
a Nicholas Sparks kind of thing.
Did you guys save when someone would write their phone number down for you?
Sure.
I always thought like, well, if I marry this person, then I'll have that piece of paper saved or whatever it is.
I know I got to find it, but I have the night that I got Rochelle's phone number at Rivers nightclub on the cocktail napkin with the still.
You have the napkin?
And you held on
Yeah,
to
I have
it.
the napkin.
Oh, that's cool.
I framed it at one point, and I've one of our moves. It's somewhere in the house.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, that was the night I got her
Oh,
number.
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's worth hanging on to.
Yeah.
I don't. Did I? So it wasn't getting a number from Claire.
I
my
guess you
wife
could
thing.
screenshot stuff now.
Yeah.
you know, text messages.
I mean, I
and
took a
stuff.
picture of the bathroom wall.
Yeah. Where the number was
Where
posted.
the number was posted. I was going to say, I throw it all out. It's clutter.
I've only had one
It's trash.
phone number given to me in that sort of fashion one time. I think it was like 21 years old. I was at Nifty 50s Preston.
Yeah.
And this girl was kind of like eye banging me for a little while. And then she walked past me to go to the bathroom. And then just a little crumpled up napkin ends up like right in front of me. And then sure enough, it was her name and number.
Snot.
No way. Yeah, it was her boogies. I never called her.
No? Was she not attractive? Or
She's a milkshake slut.
You can't trust those milkshakes.
Milkshake slut.
Yeah.
Nifty 50s.
I don't remember why I didn't. I don't think she was unattractive. Maybe I was nervous. I don't know. That sort of stuff doesn't happen to me.
Right. And it's alien to you. And
Not like, my buddy, he just had, women throwing
Oh,
themselves
yeah.
at him.
I had a friend like that, too, who he got collected,
Yeah.
phone numbers and stuff like that.
When you would get a number, though, you'd be like, like, hold on, just don't let the sweat on my hands make the ink run. Got to make sure I got this number.
Oh yeah, totally.
And what was your return call time frame when you got the number? When you were allowed access to the phone?
Not the next day, but the day after.
Right, yeah.
You got to give it a little breather.
I love the little rules.
Just a little breather.
And then you show up with the ring, right?
You don't want to seem too...
I want to marry you.
What?
Yeah.
I would like to have you for the rest of my life.
I want you to be the
Your
mother
life.
to my children.
Yeah.
Dude.
What? We just met at Nifty 50s.
That's how I feel about Jason Kelsey. He texted me last, and I was like, don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond.
You gotta wait.
Don't respond.
Yeah.
Make him want you.
Don't
Make him
sound,
want you.
Don't sound desperate.
desperate.
Don't sound desperate.
I still haven't responded.
it.
I was like, oh my God.
He likes me.
It came up in my TikTok feed actually on the way home yesterday, and it was just a girl sitting on a plane. She was looking out the window, and the caption just said, "You won't return my calls or texts, so I figured you wanted to see me on my way."
That's excellent. Hang on, I want to go to Nikki on the phones. Hi, Nikki. Good morning.
Good morning, it.
Hey, good morning to see you, Nikki. What's up?
So I am millennial trash, and I started. I am. So my now husband and I, when we were in college, we started our dating life over AOL Instant Messenger.
There you go.
So yeah, it was like we exchanged screen names and it was cute.
Yeah.
But then I saved the chats. I was like, wow, this guy is special. So I saved the chats on my computer, and now I still have the chats saved on my computer.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so a lot of that stuff, I think, again, with my wife, we were kind of in the same radio station. She was an intern, and so it was never that sort of thing where here's my number, call me. But I'd love to have something like that.
Yeah, it's a cute.
Yeah, it is cute. It's nice, and you don't know where yours is, Preston? The napkin?
Somewhere. Yeah. All right. Thank you, by the way, Nikki. Yeah, it's somewhere in the house. Here's a text that says, a woman handed me a pair of panties with a number on them. I called the number, and a guy answered, and he stated that he wanted me to watch me bang his wife.
Oh, cool.
Oh no!
I was too scared to do it.
Wow, man. So floating for some cuck action. Yeah.
In college, we used to give other people's phone numbers. So I would always give, just like Arani said, I'd give her phone number. And so she'd get calls the night, because I had a boyfriend in college.
Yeah.
She'd get calls the next day. She'd be like, who has my number? Who is this? I'm like, I don't know. Some guy.
Oh my God.
From the Rat.
Kathy, that's hilarious.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I had 3 testicles.
Did anybody ever do it back to you?
Yeah, I think it it became a thing. There was a little group of us.
Could you imagine the risk factor now of doing something like that?
I know.
I mean,
I know.
I really love you, man.
Yeah.
Well, and it was really before texting. So you'd get the call and she'd be like, hello? And she'd be like, I wasn't at the Rat last night. And he'd be like, yeah, you did. Remember? You wrote your number
a
down.
dead mouse. Thank you.
Man, oh man. But I like the baseball idea. That's a cute
Could you do
idea.
that just in the office?
Just write that number and throw a baseball.
If you're not a player, just in the office.
Just throw a baseball.
God, what else can you do?
Just throw it through, write it on a rock and throw it through someone's window.
I walked up to a girl in a restaurant one time and just handed my business card to her.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
How'd that work?
Oh, it was terrible. She looked at me like I was in
It says here you rent llamas?
I was like, and I was working in radio at the time, so I thought it would be, show offy.
Yeah. You ever hear the farm report? That's me.
That's me.
My buddy still has all of the love letters that he would get from 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Do you still have those guys?
When I moved out of my parents' house, my mom was like, come go through all of this stuff. And the declutterer that I am, I threw the majority of them out. I only kept very few. And I really, really wish I had kept them because yes, because I remember
sentimentally speaking, you love
I mean, now looking back on it, yes. I remember the first guy that had a crush on me, and he would send me letters. He gave me a little necklace. Remember the necklace that was broken, and you would wear one half,
coin.
And they would wear the other half. He gave me that. I had that in this little. I remember it was a yellow bag. And one of my boyfriends in middle school, early high school. He wrote me so many letters, and I did keep some of his, but I threw out the majority of them, and I'm so mad that I did.
Writing love letters. Actually handwriting.
Handwritten letters, yep.
Hi, Pete. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good, buddy. What's up?
Nothing. I have, so I actually don't even know how many years I've been married. I've been married a long time. So my first kid's 16 years old, so I'm guessing I'm married like 17 or 18 years.
Okay. Yeah, or 14.
Or, yeah, 14. The MILF man.
Right.
So I literally have everything my wife ever wrote me or jotted down on like a little piece of paper back like when we were, little kids kind of.
Like everything, like every restraining order and everything, like. So and does she likewise have all of your?
You know what? I would imagine she probably does, but I don't know for a fact that she does.
Yeah.
But Steve, it's funny that you say that with the restraining order thing. So at one point, she had made up like a ticket book, like to give people tickets at the bars.
Yeah.
Like you're acting inappropriately, and she would like write like a ticket. She had like a ticket book.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Well, I still have a note from one night on like New Year's or St. Pat's or something like that, where I apparently pushed a girl and made her fall to the ground, and my wife wrote me a ticket for that. And
was it intentional, or was it was accidental? I assume, right?
It was intentional, but it was very it was blown out of proportion.
Okay.
Like I kind of.
You were just demanding sex.
Oh my God, dude, stop.
I got you, but it was crossing the line enough for her to write you a ticket. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, she wrote me a ticket. And then listen, guys, real quick, if I could, if Pamela, by any chance, is listening, I love you so much, babe.
Oh,
is that your
someday
mistress?
you'll remember how many years you've been married.
That's my mistress.
All right.
No, that's good for you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you, Pete. Appreciate it, bud.
Pamela's the chick he pushed in third grade.
My brain hadn't worked right since. Yeah.
Do you want to hear a little side story about the letters that I was telling you about? And the guy, it ties in. So he was, growing up, he was the Phillies bat boy, and he would travel with them. And he traveled with Nick. When did they win the No, not World Series. 93. Would that have been?
NLCS. They went to the World Series.
Okay. All right. So he traveled with them during that time, and he traveled with Kruk and Lenny Dykstra and Darren Dalton, and became very friendly with them. They were huge tippers. He was a high school kid, and he would leave with so much money. Anyway, he really wanted to I think we were dating at the time, but he really, I think, wanted more out of me than I was giving him. And so I can't.
He wants to play Parcheesi.
I can't remember who it was. It was either Dykstra, Dalton, or Kruk, because those were the three guys that he was closest with. When they were away playing, Nick, he told them about me, and that, I don't know what she's doing. She breaks up with me, and then we get back together. And one of them told him, tell her when you were away on this trip, you got a BJ by somebody else. It'll draw her in.
That had to be Dykstra. That sounds like Dykstra
right?
advice.
It does kind of sound like Dykstra. So it'll draw her in. She'll want you more. It'll trust us. This is what. And so he did. And we were on the phone, and I was like, okay, I'm not really sure why you're telling me this, but okay. And whatever. That was it. And I was like, all right,
that was the end of that.
We're broken up now or whatever.
Yeah.
So the letter that I have from him is him apologizing when he got home, telling me that this was all a lie and that the players told him to do this and that he's so sorry.
If you could have that, I'd love to read that letter.
I think I have pictures of it in my phone. I just have to scroll and find it. Yeah.
Find it now if you can.
Okay, I'll look for it. Yeah.
The desperation that sets in.
Steve, it could be Dykstra, but it could just as well have been Kruk. Like that guy,
maybe.
And he would have given it out as friendly advice to the kid, to try to help him. And Kathy, you kind of have a friendship with John Kruk nowadays.
I do, yeah.
Next time we have him on the show, we should ask him.
And I'm still friends with
Kathy. If you want to get back at him, tell him you gave me a BJ.
Nick, I'm still friends with the guy. I'll text him and see if he remembers which player it was.
Yes, please.
By the way, speaking of the Phils, here's a text from somebody that says, Gadzooks, it says, hey, I have 3 stories of baseballs being thrown to my friends and I. One involves Pat Burrell. Big surprise there.
Yeah.
Wow. At the bat.
This is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
That song will be stuck in your head the rest of the day.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Interesting. Well, I guess it's tried and true because apparently Marissa's friend did half the team while we were there. No, I altered it a little bit.
And Larry Boa.
And Larry Boa.
What? No way.
All right. Well, listen, we do need to take a break. Thank you for your calls. Thanks for the sharing of the stories. But I want to come back and get to the bizarre file. And then after that, when we get into music, news, and trash and all that stuff, we have concert announcement.
Yeah.
Some info. So we'll take a quick break, come back in a second. Make sure that you stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Yes.
WMMR.
All right, let's do these B-file things.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by 80 Moyer Lumber, trusted expert since 1939. 80 Moyer Lumber is your professional source for decks, windows, doors, kitchens, millwork, and more. Visit them on the web at admoyer.com. Here you go. A BC, British Columbia, small claims court says ultra low cost carrier Flair Airlines has to shell out nearly $800 to compensate a passenger for a bag full of fish products that went rotten during the 5 days that his luggage was delayed.
Gross.
Holy crap. Man, Flair?
Yeah, Brian Vu had packed a suitcase full of crab meat, fish cake, sea cucumbers, and dandelion root in defiance of a plane ticket warning passengers not to put perishable items in checked luggage.
It's kind of his fault.
But in a decision released this week, a member of BC's Civil Resolution Tribunal said that it wasn't the contents of the bag that mattered as much as the fact that a Flair employee agreed to check the luggage in the first place.
Oh, all right. Oh, yes, that makes sense.
The Canadian Transportation Agency has repeatedly held that if an airline accepts checked baggage, then the airline assumes liability for the baggage, even if the airline has not agreed to transport certain items.
Yeah.
So he had flown from BC to Ontario, paying $72 to pack each of his two bags. One showed up on the other end of his voyage, but the other went missing for 5 days. According to the council, the tribunal, Mr. Vu packed crab meat, fish cake, sea cucumbers, and dandelion root in his checked bag. He says that these items spoiled while the bag was delayed. Mr. Vu estimates he paid $250 for the crab, $120 for the fish, $80 for the sea cucumbers, and $72 for the dandelion root. The evidence in the case included a video which Vu claimed depicted the spoiled items in his bag. There seemed to be no dispute that the products were actually spoiled. Flair argued that its contract with passengers specifically prohibits perishable food items in the checked bags, warning that the airline is not liable for any spoilage or perishable items. Vu argued that regulations upheld by the Canadian Transportation Agency, like I said, entitled him to compensation for checked bags lost for less than 21 days. The judge in the case found that the law doesn't allow an airline to use a contract to get out of liability, and so therefore it doesn't matter how fishy the contents were.
So the mistake was accepting it in the first place, otherwise they would have been fine.
Yep, so Flair has to pay a total of $780.22 for them.
Is that going to wreck them? I've never heard of this company.
By the way, in 2005, Quebec court refused to compensate a traveler for more than $4,000 after Continental Airlines said that it was forced to destroy a suitcase containing raw meat and vegetables.
Who travels with that
because
stuff?
They were emitting odors and various liquids were leaking out.
You can't do that.
You can imagine how bad the fish and all that stuff smelled after 5 days. Oh, my God. What started as a call about a person walking with a shotgun in rural Stearns County ended unusually on Tuesday afternoon. A deputy responded to a report of a suspicious person on Township Road. The caller described them as an elderly male carrying a shotgun and said when they drove by, the person tried to hide it. This is a great story, by the way.
Right.
So the deputy found the man fitting the witness's description walking along the road. When questioned, he told the deputy he was just out for a walk, listening to music while using his walking stick. When the deputy confronted the man about trying to hide the shotgun, he came clean. The gentleman said he was using his stick to play air guitar and saw someone drive by and explained he was embarrassed, so he tried to quickly put the stick away.
That's cute. That's very cute.
Have you ever been busted like playing air guitar or...
Of course.
doing karate
drumming
in the hall
or
something like that. It is incredibly embarrassing.
For me, it was dancing Swan Lake.
So he was what he was jamming to was not disclosed.
It's hilarious.
In the story, but
We've all been there.
I thought that was a great one. All right, in England, a police investigation into a funeral parlor where 35 bodies were found is just the tip of the iceberg, according to an undertaker. So they're having the same issues.
It's happening all over the place.
In the UK as they were here. Michael Fogg says that the low-cost funerals are turning the industry into the Wild West. He added that one didn't need premises to be a funeral director and could simply undercut existing companies by offering cut price services. He said you could set up a website and offer $1,200 funerals. No proper home can compete with that. It would be impossible. His comments came after candles were lit and prayers were said on Saturday afternoon for the families of people whose bodies were recovered from the scandal-hit funeral parlor.
Friggin' nightmare.
Legacy Family Funerals. The firm is currently under investigation by 130 people. It is understood some of the mourners have already been told that by police that the relatives they believed were cremated have already been identified amongst the corpses. So the bodies were laying around.
Well, if they were cremated, they're not just sitting around rotting.
Yep. One family member said she
Bunch of
received
wild cats down there.
ashes, but is now concerned whether they were the right ones. She said, I mixed my parents' ashes. Some put in necklaces, some in a small heart-shaped urn. The rest were scattered at their rose tree at Creme. If it turns out that I have someone else's loved one's ashes, wow.
They said one of the urns was filled with Ovaltine.
She said that I hope their family will find some comfort in knowing that they've been loved and respected as if they were my own family.
Wow.
So,
that's heartbreaking.
Yep. All right, and one last story. Let's go with this. A man was arrested after being accused of making a bomb threat at the Page Field Airport in South Fort Myers, Florida on Thursday night. The suspect, driving a white Dodge pickup truck, came into the base of operations around 7 o'clock, made a verbal bomb threat before leaving the scene.
Bomb.
Greg Poole, who is 64, allegedly went up to the clerk and said that he wanted to make a noise complaint about an aircraft flying over his home and spraying chemicals. He said he knew it was coming from the airport because he was tracking the plane.
Of course he was.
Poole asked the clerks if they knew about the FBI building that had blown up a few years ago. According to both clerks, Poole then said, if the plane does not stop flying over my house, you will be next.
Whoa.
Before getting in his truck and driving away.
Jesus.
Law enforcement found and arrested Poole. He faces...
You're in that helicopter, and you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist, and I'm after you, buddy.
He was charged with making false reports concerning planning a bomb, explosive, or an explosive or weapon of mass destruction.
Jeez.
Another winner there. And that is what I have in the Bizarre File this morning. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll see if you've been paying attention because we'll ask a question about today's program with the lesson question. We'll get trash, music news, and a concert announcement to boot. So we'll be right back. Red Hot Chili Peppers on 93.3 WMMR. Give it away. We will be giving something away. In just a moment, we're going to do a lesson question. We'll get also the trash, music news, and a concert announcement coming up. Hang on, I'm getting my stuff all ready to go. All right, so lesson question. Prize, by the way, a pair of tickets for the exclusive theatrical premiere of Hate to Love Nickelback, which is coming to select cinemas for 2 nights only, March 27th and 30th. So you'll get to go and see this. And the question that we will ask is this.
Juicy.
What do you think?
It's good.
It's good. And you've never tried it.
That's pretty good.
All right. I know you want to eat
mine.
Isn't
One
that good?
down.
Come on, that's today, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Casey's going to be at Arita's. We might stop by and have some water ice, but Steve and I are doing another thing, and we asked Casey to come by, and what are we going to eat there? 215-263-WMMR. If you heard us and you know it, then you should call now because we got the prize, and we'll do the trash while you're calling in.
The trash business is a gold mine.
93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you this morning by Natural Lawn of America. Natural Lawn has been creating green lawns quickly, more naturally, and with fewer weeds since 1987. Get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED now. What's up, Steve?
Well, 20-year-old rapper Bad Baby, a.k.a. Danielle Bregoli, announcing that she and boyfriend LaVaughn have welcomed their first child together, a baby girl. Bergoli says giving birth has made her rethink her OnlyFans account and says until she heals, she's only going to be doing mouth stuff. She's a mom, you know.
Yeah.
Reba McEntire is calling out a fake story claiming that she called Taylor Swift a brat after seeing her at the Super Bowl. Reba says the story is a complete fabrication, noting that she actually used the C word. So,
Oh my God.
and finally, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend helped their daughter. This is cute. Their daughter Luna to sell Girl Scout cookies in West Hollywood on Saturday. Legend says they want to teach their daughter about the value of celebrity endorsements. That's your Hollywood.
All right, we are searching for an answer from you. Both Steve and I have an appearance today. Casey does as well. Casey's at Rita's, and maybe we'll stop by and get some water ice. But if you come by our appearance, what can you have there to eat? I will go to Pete. Hi, Pete. Good morning. Hi, Pete. You're on the air, buddy.
You're a whore, Peter.
He hung up. Pete? That's crazy.
You go.
Okay, well, we lost him. Yeah. All right, that's okay. We got another caller. All right. It's Raz, who we're going to go to. Hey, Raz, morning.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey, bud, what are we going to have to eat at our appearance?
You're going to have mulch.
Mulch, yes. Mulchworks. This little cup of mulch from Mulchworks. You got it, buddy. Hang on the line. We're going to get you those tickets. You're going to get to go see the exclusive theatrical premiere of Hate to Love, Nickelback. And it's in select theaters for 2 nights only, March 27th and 30th. Hate to Love Nickelback tells the authentic story about the band from their humble beginnings in Hanna, Alberta, to their explosive global success in 2001 and the highs and lows that followed. For tickets and info, visit nickelbackfilm.com. Another chance to win tickets available at WMMR.com. Let's do the music news.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, I'll do the concert announcement at the end. It's brought to you this morning by Dermatology Associates of Plymouth Meeting, recruiting for a non-segmental vitiligo study to test an investigational medication. Adults 18 and older can register. Go to PlymouthMeetingDermatology.com. John Bon Jovi shared that he's not sure whether he will be able to tour again after undergoing vocal surgery a few years ago.
What?
Yeah, he recently explained in an interview that he is still recovering and unable to confirm if he'll go on tour for the band's upcoming album, Forever. He said, I don't know about a tour.
He has he not performed since the...
Yeah, but a tour is a different story.
Okay.
He said, it is my desire to do a tour next year, but I'm just still recovering from a major surgery. I previously shared that he had undergone a procedure in 2022 after one of his vocal cords was atrophying, with one being thick as the thumb, he said, and the other vocal cord being thick as a pinky. At one time, he added that his craft was being taken from him. Although he said, I'm well on the road to recovery and was able to take my time and do a song a day when I made the record. My need, want, desire is to be able to do 2.5 hours a night for 4 nights a week for months on end. And so I'm working towards that goal. Earlier this week, they announced their 16th studio album, Forever, due out on June 7th. And released the first single of the record called Legendary, which Pierre premiered for you.
I didn't realize that it had impacted him that much.
Yeah, so to be able to tour, that puts a lot of stress on your voice, obviously. So he's not sure if he can handle it or not. The Offspring is about to release a new album. Guitarist Kevin Noodles Wasserman spoke of it in an interview and said that we've been working on a bunch of new stuff. The record's almost done. We're hoping to be done in the next couple of months and have it released at the end of the year. Their last album, Let the Bad Times Roll, was released in 2021. And obviously, they're playing the MM Barbecue.
It's very cool. A lot of people very excited to see them at the barbecue.
New album coming out would be great. Breaking Benjamin guitarist Keith Wallen has released a new video for The Wolf. The clip was shot near Nashville, and the song is from his next solo record called Infinity Now, due out May 3rd.
The Wolf.
He said the song is a concept I felt a lot of us can identify with. We've all known those people that for whatever reason we just can't break ourselves away from them. An addiction on every level, all the while knowing it's a toxic situation. You break all those promises to yourself that you'll stay away, but ultimately you're there you go are again. So,
and that's the reason for naming the album The Wolf, or okay.
Yep. He'll be extra busy on the road this year, playing solo shows as well as touring with Breaking Benjamin. Multi-platinum artist and frontman of Stained, Aaron Lewis, has dropped a new solo single. It's called Over the Hill. About that, he said, Over the Hill is the realization that we all make mistakes, take different paths, and learn as we go. I've embraced it with no regrets.
I'm waiting for him to do a real party kind of song, a really upbeat, just balls to the wall party song.
The song is from his upcoming solo album, The Hill, out March 29th.
Stained and Breaking Benjamin are touring together this summer.
Perfect.
With a guy we're going to have in studio on Friday.
With Daughtry, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool.
Black Keys have been honored with the Sound Exchange Hall of Fame Award, recognizing them as one of the most streamed acts in the organization's 20-year history. Members Patrick Carney and Dan Auerbach were presented during the South by Southwest Conference and Music Festival in Austin, Texas last week.
It's a great honor to get this thing.
Black Keys will release their album Ohio Players next month. All right, now we have a concert announcement.
Oh!
Yeah.
Always a good time for concert announcement.
So the show will be Friday, September 20th at the Wells Fargo Center. Tickets will go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. And I'm excited to mention this because I saw this guy and his band last time they were in town, and it was amazing. MMR announces Jeff Lynne's ELO. Yes.
I love this band.
The Over and Out Tour is Friday, September 20th at the Wells Fargo Center, and I'm sure it'll be the same as last time. There were like 25 people on the stage because he had a small orchestra and lots of musicians backing him up, and the sound was just outstanding.
You were wondering.
Wonderful, yeah.
And then it was everything you wanted it to be.
Man.
And I'm sure he did.
Hello?
Oh, my God. That's one of my favorite songs.
I love that song.
Yeah, Telephone?
Yeah, Telephone is amazing,
line. So it's just song after song after song after song. You just know all the tunes. You sing along to them. I took Rochelle and, I told her it was ELO, and it kind of was wasn't resonating.
And then she realized.
And then we got there. She's like, oh, I know that song. I know that song. I know that song. I know that song. So
you forget how rich, and it's him. He is the band, but still the musicians are top notch. And it is that Friday night?
It is a Friday night on the 20th. Yeah, tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. They didn't do this song. They didn't do Fire on High.
They didn't? Oh, it's a great song.
I love this tune. It's an instrumental, but they didn't play it. But you never know. Maybe they'll put it in the set this time around. Am I doing this?
You can do that if you want to.
Yeah, let's give away a pair of tickets.
Yeah! Baby! Did he do All Over the World?
I don't remember.
All over the world.
Caller 22 at 215-263 WMMR. We'll give you tickets to ELO, Jeff Lynne's ELO, the Over and Out Tour, Friday, September 20th at Wells Fargo Center. So, yeah, they did this song. Oh, man. So many great songs. All right, so we'll get you. Caller 22. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us, and we will wrap up the program when we return. 33 WMMR, Wanting, Waiting, Wanting. Great tune. Straight Up Blues. 10:36 on this Monday morning with Preston and Steve Show. 50 degrees our high temperature today. Same thing pretty much tomorrow with this kind of partly cloudy sky. It's going to be 56 on Wednesday and then cooling off on Thursday. High only about 47, but I guess we're about where we need to be. As we're approaching the spring, tomorrow is
unbelievable.
the vernal equinox. And that is, we get equal time of day and night.
Equal vernoxes.
The equal vernoxes, if you will. So it's looking good. But today has been fun. We had a concert announcement, ELO coming to town. Jeff Lynne and company. Details, WMMR.com. And other than that, we just kind of hung out and had a good time. We welcome Jackie Bam Bam.
Hey!
Where did you sleep last night?
Oh, where did I sleep last night? At home, thank God.
I heard.
Yeah. Where'd you sleep last night?
In my coffin.
All right, very good. Always in the coffin.
But I'm here most importantly.
Yeah, nice. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Great broadcast. Sounded amazing out
awesome.
there.
Thank
Center
you.
field. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a really good time.
You're here the whole week?
Yeah, you and me.
Nice.
I'm just warning you.
Yeah, that's okay.
We have been warned. All right, let's do the letter, and then we'll figure out what you got going on, okay?
Gotcha.
Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
And the Preston and Steve show is brought to you today by the letter.
The letter D, as in delicious.
Yes. And we have a pair of pit tickets and concert T-shirts for MMR Barbecue 2024, Saturday, September 21st. Freedom Mortgage Pavilion tickets are on sale now via Ticketmaster, including the early bird lawn tickets, $25 plus fees while supplies last. Of course, the Offspring, Hailstorm, Nothing More Than Warning, also POD, Silver Tide, Sleep Theory, and Jersey Calling, and the President Steve Show's side stage. And Jackie Bam Bam's going to be spinning while we're there, live band karaoke and all that good stuff. So what are you doing on today's program, Mr. Bam Bam?
Well, we got to do Pierre's workforce blocks, and I got to do Cinderella because his mom and his son, Jeff LeBar, little Jeffy, would be 61 today. So we'll go back to the Galaxy. We'll go back to the Empire Rock Room. We'll celebrate the life of Jeff LeBar, some deep Cinderella cuts. Sharing a birthday with Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, and The Who are celebrating the anniversary of their sophomore album. So we'll get to all that. And in my prize golf, and I have John Fogerty and George Thorogood tickets. And then me and Casey, boy, are going to be hanging out at Dover Motor Speedway, and we want to get you into the VIP suite, and that'll be Sunday, I believe, or Saturday, April 28th. So we'll give you a chance at winning them all week.
Sunday.
You ever been to
Sunday? It is. Yeah.
You ever been to a NASCAR event?
I have. I went with Brent last year, and I'm there.
great.
And we have Mummers there too with the Uptown String Band. It's going to be a great day.
It is awesome, yeah.
Excellent. All right, well, have fun with Jackie today. I want to thank our sponsors. President Steve Show is brought to you today by Dunkin'. The President Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, and by A.D. Moyer, your professional source for decks, windows, doors, millwork, and more. admoyer.com. Tomorrow on the program for now, Tattoos Day is what we have set up, and we'll get some other things filling in the blanks as well. So we hope that you will join us. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.